shit the bed now with Konechny's injury, this Oscar Lindblom disaster.
They lost that first night. Dan Sileo, man, really?
I've never heard him on the air.
He got suspended a couple times for saying like bigoted, ignorant shit.
So. Well, don't just play it. I want to call for it. We're going to compare that to the Kevin Harlan call that I sent you. Beautiful.
The what, right?
Kevin Harlan.
Well, I don't know how much of the game did you watch last night to see history made for probably, I don't know, 6 days until Tom Brady throws probably at least a touchdown.
So what does he have to do? Throw 2 more or 3 more to catch Breeze? I
think he has
track.
to throw 2 more to catch.
Okay, well they played Buffalo this week.
Right.
Pretty tough defense.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
everybody in the world wants you to think the Bills +6 is a steal.
Right.
This is usually when...
Not so fast, my friend.
This is usually around the time.
And that's when all the people start lining up with the Bills. Yep. They haven't watched like one Bills game maybe all year long, but they're like, the Bills are the player.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, but anyway.
Now, what are your thoughts? Like, what would you use, terminology, verbiage, maybe even a non-sports comparison? Who is Drew Brees? Drew Brees is not the best quarterback that's ever played in the NFL, but Drew Brees is a surefire Hall of Famer.
Oh.
He's one of the most dominant short to mid-range passers we've seen. And by the way, in his prime, he actually did have a pretty good arm downfield as well. He's a champion, but again, it's like where Peyton Manning was before he won that second Super Bowl. And I know that he wasn't who Peyton Manning was per se, but I just feel like we're always going to talk about Super Bowls, we're always going to talk about championships, but at the same time, how many people do you think are truly better than Drew Brees at that position?
Yeah, I mean,
without having to go through a list. Of course.
No, I mean he's one of the all-timers. He's one of the best that I've seen. I mean he's survived a long time. How many years has he been in the league?
Wow.
I mean, a long time.
39 years old, right?
I know Brady has been in longer, but he suits up to play, and that's one of the big things. You got to suit up to play every week in order to put up the numbers that he has put up. You want to call him a stat compiler, if you're not a really big fan of his overall game, he doesn't have a big enough arm for you. He's not 6'5", all that kind of stuff. Have at it. But he's one of the best that I've seen, and I don't know what kind of a comparison I could make to him for another sport. But
no, how about non-sport? Like, here's the thing: how do you factor in the one Super Bowl with a guy who hasn't had many down years, right?
They had a couple of down years, like 2 or 3 in a row as a team.
But I don't think he has.
I mean, this year was, he got hurt for missed a couple of weeks with the injury, and Bridgewater came in and did a fantastic job and kept them afloat. But
I'll give you a perfect example, real quick. All right, to your point about the team not playing well at times, they were 7-9 in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees led the league in pass yardage with 51-77, touchdowns at 43. Now, he also led the league with 19 picks, but still.
How many times has he been over 5,000 yards?
Since the rules really changed. Isn't this funny? Because this is another too, is that he kind of represents the rule change. Since 2008, when they changed the rule, was the first time that he went over 5,000, and since that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want about the rules and all. You got to make the throws. You got to last in the game. To accumulate that kind of stuff, because this guy isn't throwing 70-yard bombs.
Look at this. 3 straight years they win 7 games, and 3 straight years
he led the league in yards.
He's throwing a ton, and he's leading the league there, but that's another thing. He's only throwing 11 picks, 17. How can he throw 660 times and only throw 17 interceptions?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That in its own right. The guy has only gone over 20 picks one time in his career. Think about the difference of Eli Manning, who has had good years but has also led the league and just been god-awful when it comes to turning the football over. He is like, his career is one game from Jameis Winston.
I'd be interested in seeing his numbers, Breeze's numbers, stacked up against Rodgers and Peyton Manning, in side-by-sides.
Well, I can tell you, Aaron Rodgers might be the only guy that is anywhere close to eclipsing this touchdown record, and I don't even know how far away or how much he truly have to play. So, Rodgers led the league in touchdowns 1 year in 16.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also not throwing anywhere near the amount of Drew Brees.
Right.
And that's something in its own right. But
we had 40 touchdowns a few years ago.
yeah, that was the one time that he led it. But Drew Brees is another guy. Okay, so let's think of it like, who's an actor that you can look at for the last 25 years and say that person was as good in that movie in 1992 as they were in their most recent film in 2017?
Well, it'd have to be a guy that did a lot of movies. This isn't one of these guys that shows up every couple of years and gets a role that he likes.
Yes, doesn't that equate to Drew Brees throwing a lot of passes? Like, he's out there.
That's what I'm saying. You got to be in a lot of films.
I think that's a great point.
Tom Hanks.
Oh, Jesus.
I knew it.
Are you serious?
Think about it.
Brees,
he spanned all that time period, and he's still cranking them out, man.
So what's
Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers.
Let's do it.
What would be the equivalent of Drew Brees' Super Bowl for Tom Hanks? Forrest Gump?
Probably.
Is that
that's one of my favorites.
Well, if you could only... Let's say you're writing an article about Tom Hanks' new venture into Mr. Rogers, and in parentheses you reference the movie he's most known for. Would it be that? Would it be Forrest Gump?
That would be one. That's one of my favorites. That's all I can say.
What about that movie with Sally Field and when he was a comedian? You no love for that?
Sally Field? No, I don't even know that. I know he's in the You Got Mail. With,
that's crap.
What's her name?
Yeah,
Meg Ryan.
I'm going old school deep cuts. If I'm going to criticize and rip somebody, I want people out there to know that I come prepared.
What about Philadelphia?
Philadelphia is a strong role, but I think Denzel. Doesn't Denzel
was great in that too.
Accolade for it. Can your best role be a movie where you get outshined? Like, people say Leonardo DiCaprio, one of his best roles is Gangs of New York. But I say every time he's on the screen with Daniel Day-Lewis, I don't even know that he's on the screen.
See, but Daniel Day-Lewis is one of those guys that only pops up every so often and does a role. And then he disappears back into Ireland or wherever he lives.
He's Eli Manning.
He lives in a log cabin in the middle of Ireland or something.
Unbelievable. That's a great call.
He's a total weirdo.
He does pop in and out.
Yeah.
So who would it be? Tom Hanks?
Lincoln. We need Abe Lincoln. Here he comes.
That's right. Well, Daniel Day-Lewis hasn't worked in 2 years, and he'd be great, and
he's going to take a steamship from Ireland over to the United States.
Absolutely. Just to get
ready for the role.
That's right. Exactly right. All right, I have a sobering stat for you when it comes to Eagles wide receivers, but I'm just curious, and we'll hit the text board, 609-403-0973. Is Tom Hanks the best? It's not a bad one, and I understand that people enjoy Tom Hanks movies, but I'm curious, it wouldn't be a typecast actor, right? Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be Robert De Niro.
No.
It wouldn't be Mel Gibson, would it?
Mel Gibson.
Well, Tom Cruise is coming out with a new movie.
Really?
Yeah, Top Gun.
Oh, that's a reboot?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, but last night, he obviously gets the 4 touchdowns. He breaks the record. And we're going to have the audio of both of the calls, like the radio call versus the television call of the record-breaking touchdown. But prior, outside of doing that, he was 29 of 30 last night.
It's ridiculous.
29 of 30, 307, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and didn't get sacked.
Right.
Yet his passer rating was only a meager 148.9.
That's it.
Which is 10 points short of perfect.
It's amazing.
158.3, I think, is perfect.
And those were not screens and sways.
No.
He had to make some really difficult throws at times.
Right, it's not like he's dumping off to the back all the time, right? And now his QBR was 97 out of a possible 100. So doesn't this, some people hate all these ratings, okay? But to me, the QBR, I think, is more representative of how good you were as opposed to the passer rating. And I'll give you a case in point. Lamar Jackson had 2 perfect ratings thus far this season at quarterback.
Yeah.
Week 1 against Miami. Now here was his numbers to get a perfect rating. 158.3.
Okay.
17 of 20. 324, 5 touchdowns, no picks, and a sack taken. He only threw the ball 20 times.
Right. And Breeze, on the other hand, how
He's
many
putting
times?
it into peril 30 times in
Yeah.
this instance. Against Cincinnati, Lamar Jackson went 15 of 17 throws. It's 223 yards, okay, 3 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks. So I'm wondering how, I don't know how they derive these numbers, but to me, if you're going to risk throwing it 30 times, you
That says a
complete
lot,
29 of them,
That says a lot,
okay?
right.
And you don't have a pick, and you don't take a sack. How is that not closer to perfect?
I don't know. That makes no sense.
I don't
to me.
get
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. You're right, especially because he threw the ball more. Both of those guys, those stat lines are pretty damn impressive.
They are. I'm not trying to diss
No,
Lamar
I know
Jackson
you're
here,
not. I know you're
please.
not. It
But
just it doesn't make. I don't know.
I don't know what's
type of-
perfect.
I don't.
I don't know what's pass interference. I don't know what's reviewable. I don't know anything.
No, I don't understand. That makes little sense. Now, I'll say this, though. As far as Breeze himself, there is somebody that isn't talked about until something like this comes around last night. And when I say isn't talked about, I mean as far as something that's stuffed down our throat. That's my new barometer now. If TV and all the national stuff, if they're not jamming it down my throat, then I know it's not important. It's the only way I know something's important
Really?
now in life.
So
Yeah.
you're taking their judgment
Yes.
over your own.
Well, yeah. Why? I see it constantly on social media.
Oh,
People
God,
bitch and
social
moan
media.
about First Take, yet they continue to watch it.
No,
they
they
never
don't.
talk Eagles. They never talk Eagles.
Who
Why
are
are
you
you
talking
watching
about?
I see it every morning.
Stop looking at it.
I can't help it.
Jesus.
I'm on there for a reason.
I haven't watched that show ever, and I don't look at the reviews or the
No.
Twitter following of it.
I don't. I would never turn it on. I'm talking about the people who are frustrated about no Eagles on there.
Why
So-
would that frustrate you?
It doesn't me, but the people that don't watch it frustrates me. Max Kellerman says something about Carson Wentz today, and he's the biggest villain on the planet, yet he'll praise Joel Embiid tomorrow, and the same people will say, you see the loyalty? Kellerman knows Philly. He gets Philly.
Oh, God.
All right, so here's what I'm saying, all right?
All right.
As far as the team itself, we might be under discussing one of the best single seasons and one of the best receivers that we've seen in a long time. Michael Thomas. Is amazing.
No, he's really good. They did a good piece. I watched some of the pregame. I didn't watch hardly any of the game. I watched maybe 5 minutes of the game because I just can't take the announcing crew.
No,
I'm
it's-
sorry.
it's bad.
It influences
It's
me.
terrible.
It's never happened before, but it is with this crew.
Can I give you a suggestion?
But I watched the pregame, and they did a really good breakdown of Michael Thomas and where he catches the balls and how much punishment he takes in the middle of the field, knowing he's going to get popped.
Yep.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It makes you, if you watched it, it kind of makes you appreciate that kind of player even more.
Did they interview him? And
I don't
or
remember.
was it just? I don't.
I don't
the
remember
piece.
if there was an interview. But
12, a buck 28, and a touchdown. That's like business as usual
yeah,
for this guy.
right, and he takes a lot of hits.
It looks like he's going to break Marvin Harrison's single season record. You're right. He's everywhere. He goes. Well, that's part of the offense is asking somebody like Michael Thomas to sacrifice deep speed to get the football in more conducive areas and lanes for Drew Brees.
Right.
So, do you remember? I believe it was Lou Piniella, and I brought
Lou Piniella?
Yeah.
We're going from Michael Thomas and Drew Brees to Lou Piniella?
Lou Piniella.
Only on this show. will
Only,
this happen.
only. Well, look, if we went, Captain Lou Albano, then,
Oh,
then
yeah.
I'd say only on this show.
Didn't he have like
Rubber bands.
rubber bands coming out of like paper clips coming out of his cheeks?
No, it was his beard.
Oh,
He had
he
rubber band. Yeah, you're conflating some sadomasochist, like, I don't know if that's even a wrestler or if it's some evil person in a movie, like some Hollywood villain with Captain Lou. Captain Lou did not do anything more to his body than grow a beard and put rubber bands.
So there were no piercings.
No.
Okay.
No, this is not.
Well, I feel better.
Headbangers
That kind
ball
of
here.
grossed me out.
No.
Anyway,
So,
sorry to interrupt.
Lou Piniella, pardon me, now I'm thinking Captain Lou Albano. Lou Piniella once said about, do you remember what he once said about Ichiro? This is earlier in Ichiro's Major League Baseball
Did he diss
career.
him?
No, it was quite the opposite.
Oh, okay.
He said that if he had the ability, like if Piniella really had the ability to take him away from being, because he was such an important, necessary leadoff piece. But if Piniella went to him and said, hey, I need you to hit third or fourth in the lineup, he said he'd hit 40 home runs out a year. It's just his, like, he has so many different ways in which he can get on base, or he can hit for power.
So he just utilized the one that best suited where he was in the lineup.
Correct.
That's what you're saying.
But he could have hit for power every year. And Pinellas, like, this isn't me, saying that. The guy could over 35 a year. So at that point, you start to look at a guy and you appreciate the fact that he can do so many different things, and that's Michael Thomas. Like, Michael Thomas could be one of the game's, without a doubt, best downfield receivers. He's got that speed where he can go downfield and get open and get distance. Yet, how often do we see him do that? Because the offense doesn't call for that.
Right. Well, the quarterback really doesn't suit his
Correct.
skill set and his advanced age.
Now, they started to stretch a little bit with Bridgewater, but it's really just about Michael Thomas right now. I think Drew Brees' career comes to a close and, maybe plays another year or two, but I don't think we should overlook that we are seeing a guy. You break Marvin Harrison's single-season record. Like, Marvin Harrison wasn't an amasser that year. It wasn't like, hey, man, we're running 5 and outs and quick slants for you just to get you the football.
Just to
Wide
get you some
receiver
numbers.
screens. No.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison earned that,
Yeah.
catching footballs in an era that was more difficult than now. But for Michael Thomas to be where he is now, I don't know, Harry, I don't want to diminish anything from Drew Brees, but it blew me away.
Well, it's almost like you get to that who made who argument with the great receiver playing with the all-time quarterbacks like Montana and Rice. Rice is considered the greatest receiver of all time, but he also had arguably one of, if not, some people will still argue he's the greatest quarterback in Joe Montana.
Right.
One needs the other, right?
How much? Brady, Belichick, right? Montana, Rice.
Well, that's where you look at Brady and you're like,
Yeah.
well, where was his guy like that? He had Randy Moss for, one big year, right?
Yeah, they won every game except for the Super
for the
Bowl
one
game.
that really mattered.
Exactly.
Anyway, do you want to get to these audio calls
Yes.
here? Because
Yes.
I came across Kevin Harlan's on Twitter this morning because he does
Okay.
the radio for Westwood
I
One.
thought you meant that you had the WWL call, which is the
WWL?
Saints radio.
Oh no! I didn't. If we
Hokie
could-
Guyjon.
Oh, I know who he is.
No, he's Ed Orgeron, but you
Yeah.
can understand.
Right,
some-
right, yeah, he's pure Cajun, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to give us a little Hokie.
That would be a great. Once Ed Orgeron gets done doing college football, can you imagine Hokie Guyjon and Ed Orgeron on the LSU football call?
Hokie
Oh,
Guyjon.
my-
Now, Hokie would have to do play-by-play.
Yeah.
And that's how difficult. It would be like, here's what it would be. You know how you have these ESPN, sometimes on like the college football championship, you have all the different broadcasts?
Yeah.
For
Well,
Saints
because they
games,
use all their channels.
exactly,
or
the
something. Yeah,
platform.
yeah.
So for Saints games, they could have a Cajun broadcast.
Yeah. The Water Boy is in there,
Yeah.
right?
Sandler's
Hokie Guyjon and Bobby Hebert. There's your
Bobby
three right
Hebert.
there.
Well, you got Coach O.
Well, yeah, but Coach O's going to be busy with college football.
No, I thought you said this is when he retires.
Oh, okay. When he retires.
If Hokie
Yeah, you
Guyjon
put the
got
Water
really-
Boy down on the field.
That's
though.
right.
He's
that's
the
right.
field analyst.
And Hebert's the studio analyst. Let's go out there, Hokie Guyjon. All right,
Go
I'm sorry.
Tigers.
I'm sorry. You had the,
He finishes everything with "Go Tigers."
Yeah, he does.
Orgeron. I
Go
love that
Tigers.
guy. All right. Do you want to hear Harlan first on radio?
Yes.
All right. This is the record.
Wait, no.
No?
Here's the reason why. I want to start with the bad news. I want to end on a positive note.
Okay.
I want this audio from Kevin Harlan to redeem this segment that's about to get ruined by, we
Tess.
haven't already,
Okay.
by Joe Tessitore.
All right. Well,
Now, is my guy Booger at fault here as well? Is he a culprit?
No, I don't know. I don't think this involved Booger. Let's go with Tessitore's then, Josh, okay?
19 straight completions now for Drew Brees. That ties his career high in a game. But I think he's searching for another mighty mark. Will he get it here? Yes. Touchdown pass. 5-4-0 in the 5-0-4.
All right, now there's two things in there at play. He goes, yes!
Yeah.
Almost like a Marv Albert homage.
Yeah.
And then he's doing the 5-4-0 in the 5-0-4. Now that to me is something almost Nance-esque, where he would have had it written on the note card.
Absolutely.
You know, if so-and-so wins the national championship in New Orleans, like he'd have these almost
agree,
these
yes.
scripted endings of his calls. He denies it, but I think like he obviously pre-thinks those. It's premeditated. Oh, There's no
Absolutely.
doubt about it. There's no
It's-
doubt about it. And I think there's also an element to what he tries to do to sound a little Harlan-esque with the growl. You know, Harlan has a growl. But it's
is
not,
this growl new from Tessitore?
it's no, but it's done a whole lot more now with Monday Night Football than he did on college.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
Because it didn't bother me before.
But it bothers
Now
you
it bothers the hell
Well, he's
out
a
of me.
terrible announcer.
It's just
in this
I
particular
can't handle
setting.
it. Now, do you
It's-
want to hear Harlan
Yeah. So real quick, as far as the 540,
in the 504? Area code 5.
no, I get it. I get
right?
it. So for somebody who had all week to sit down and create something and write it on a card, wouldn't you expect more? I mean, it's like
I don't know.
it's like having a meal being built up, and it's stored. It's like box mac and cheese. You know, like
Well, the funny thing is,
504 and the 540 and a 504.
I was looking this morning at the Twitter reaction because I didn't watch that part of the game. I only
Yeah.
watched 5 minutes of it. And people were so annoyed with him at constantly reminding the audience, sort of like he was doing Monday night in the Eagles game about the playoff scenarios. Like every 5 minutes, he's rehashing the playoff scenarios that are at stake here. He apparently was, setting up, one more and he's got the record, 2 more, he's got the, all this kind of stuff. People were going crazy. And then they were saying, God, I bet Drew Brees hopes that he gets the record next week because it's a Sunday and Joe Tessitore doesn't have to call it.
Oh man, that's great. That is great. So here's the thing. Now it begs the question: what happens if Tom Brady, over the course of the next 2 weeks, and we have to look at this. What's week?
Well, they don't play Monday night on week 17. All the teams play Sunday.
So that wasn't the last one though. We have one more Monday night game.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, but here's the thing.
I think it's Packers-Vikings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter about Tessitore for a second. My point of it is more is it that you have Tessitore whose call is there, right? Versus what might be a new call. Meaning, Drew Brees, let's say Tom Brady comes out, ties the record. Let's now
Oh, and
next
then Brees in week 17 breaks it again.
extends it, right?
Ah, I see where you're.
Now that's a new call.
Well, yeah,
right?
it is. But I mean, this was to break Peyton, I guess, right?
Well, Brady's about to break the record
Yeah.
too. So here's the thing: won't Brady get his own call?
Oh yeah, of course, because he's going to play on Sunday.
And it's going to be this magnificent call. Wow, wow.
Maybe it'll be Nance and Romo.
Correct.
Could
Maybe,
be.
maybe that. So forget your disdain and dislike for Joe Tessitore. We'll get to Kevin Harlan. We'll let Kevin Harlan ride us into the
Oh,
break.
okay.
But right?
So you want him over music?
No, yeah. What? Right? Or do you want it?
It's fine.
Do you think it'll be better dry?
Let's do it.
My question to
You
you
can always
is.
play it dry again.
That's fine. Will the Tessitore one be associated with Breeze if, in fact, Breeze has to do it again?
I think once you got that stain on you, it never leaves.
That's a shame. That's a shame. All right, here it is. Kevin Harlan.
Breeze is under center. The snap, the spin, the big game up from Jackson. Goes to Trump. Touchdown. It's grabbed by Hill. It's in. It's the record. Drew Brees is known for more touchdown passes than any quarterback in professional football history. Drew Brees atop the list and perhaps never to be caught. 540. Unbelievable. History in the Superdome.
You're listening to the Mays and Aton Show, presented by
That was good.
South Jersey. Go to TryGuysOnAir.com.
Josh did a good job there.
With your wet basement.
What's in your mouth, bro?
South Jersey's radio home for
Is that a part of a cardboard box or something?
97.3
What are you eating?
ESPN. Listen as Tim Saunders and Steve Coates call all the
What's on your mouth? What is on your mouth?
Coverage begins at 7 p.m.
Listen to Philadelphia Flyers hockey brought to you by Gentle
Ace.
Motors, 500 John Penn Boulevard, next to the airport in Woodbine.
What is that?
Are you tired of the same old
Something they chew from the box.
exciting new
Tape?
experience? Come join our friends at
depressing.
Bury the Hatchet is the East Coast premier axe throwing company with locations right in your backyard in Cherry Hill and Toms River, plus Philadelphia and Salem.
Took a lot for me to not drink it all
Use our
yesterday.
promo code Harry50 for 50% off. Your first 2 hours will be 50% off. Just use our promo code Harry50. Bury the Hatchet. Go to burythehatchet.com. Davio's Northern Italian Steakhouse is located
Robin's
on the
dad
second
died.
floor of the historic property
Really?
banquet
Yeah, he
in the
was
heart of Philadelphia,
red,
near
like,
Rittenhouse.
Come here.
Davio's, it's
pretty
all
bad
about
off.
the best. Davio's offers private dining rooms available for more
What do
than
you mean?
small groups.
We don't hold.
Hospitality and attendant dining room staff provide every guest an exceptional experience. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Join us for power lunch, happy hour, or Sunday brunch. At Davio's, it's
Shitty. The whole thing was shitty last night.
All right, so Jason's still good for tomorrow.
Okay.
Bombo's good for 1. Still waiting on confirmation of Clark
For Friday? Should have him come out to Parks.
That's gonna happen.
No? Boy.
Getting that Newey Scruggs for Thursday.
Yeah, I can get you later.
There are so many choices when it comes to selecting the right financial institution.
This guy's so mad on Twitter that I'm calling him a fake. This guy's so mad on Twitter that I'm calling him a fake account. Who? He's trying to. Some dude who's been on Twitter for like 6 months. He's got 1 follower,
Oh.
and it's like some fake account that follows him as well. It's just people aren't even trying anymore. What's this email from Denny's Electric?
Hey,
Welcome to 2 Street and welcome to Top
I
Man
looked at
Joe's.
it.
Top Man Joe's in
The way you read it,
South Philly is
the guy makes an excuse for their sales rep saying that she's been pulled in some different directions and their sales rep, the girl, the manager, whoever else is on this email makes an excuse for her and skips right to, oh, by the way, we're covering Sylvia for free. I can't wait until you read this one. The fucking gall of these fucking people. We've been on this station for 9 fucking months through a football season, and you got nothing. And now you want us to schlep down there this fucking slim beers to assholes because it will benefit your fucking charity. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not even gonna respond. I'm not responding.
I can't. Food.
This football season, visit the Great American Pub.
Where are your hours?
Together at the Great American Pub.
That just come?
Yeah, it took 2 hours to get here.
Wow.
I haven't eaten anything. And now, of course, food's here. You want anything?
No,
Wings?
thanks.
I just need something. I'm starving.
Yeah, so that's
Survivors of childhood sexual abuse take legal action. Jeff Anderson,
not surprised.
Attorney Greg Gianfrocaro can help.
par for the course.
Visit It'sTimeNewJersey.com or call confidentially today 1-800-IT'S-TIME. 80 South Main Street, Phillipsburg, New Jersey 08865. This is Joe Krause of Krause's Coats inviting you to donate a slightly worn coat or jacket. Help kids in need stay warm this winter. Go to Krause's Coats Facebook page. Happy holidays. You're listening to Mays and Aton with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
You want to hear it one more time?
Yeah, dry. You want to go dry or you want it over
Well,
Motley Crue?
let's do it. I like Kevin Harlan like I like my wings.
Yes.
Dry.
Right. You don't
Naked.
need a whole lot of sloppy sauce on them.
I like Kevin Harlan naked and dry.
Well, I don't
in
know
the
about
food.
naked.
Well, just like your wings, right, Hank?
Well, yeah.
Right, Hank? All right. Speaking of which, Jason will be back with us,
Tomorrow he's going to be back. Yes.
God willing.
Oh, God.
All right, let's, Josh, if you can. Great job on the tight trim of the
Yeah, that
fade.
was nice. He faded it right into the end of the start of the Bumper.
No, that's hitting the post. That's the reverse post.
Oh, reverse post.
Because normally when you're a music jock, you hit a post, you talk, and then you
and then
stop.
the hook or the lyrics.
Well, the
start.
lyrics,
Yeah,
correct. So if we can, let's listen to Kevin Harlan dry and naked, please.
Breeze is under center. The snap, the spin, the fake handoff, drop back, 7 goes a short pass, and ends on back. Touchdown! It's grabbed by Hill. That's it. It's the record. Drew Brees is thrown for more touchdown passes than any quarterback in professional football history. Drew Brees atop the list, and perhaps never to be caught. 540.
You have to be a little more verbose on the radio than on
Yes.
TV. I get
Right.
that, but I almost feel like, and that's why I wanted to hear Tessitore first and Harlan second. I feel like Tessitore ruined the moment. That moment, I could feel it, man. Kevin Harlan had me there, right? Kevin and he keeps. That's like, go back, Josh, run that back. That's his cadence.
Under center. The snap, the spin, the fake handoff, drop back, 7 goes a short pass, and ends on back. Touchdown! It's grabbed.
It's grand.
That's it. That's the record.
It's grand. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the record.
I don't know. This is not. I don't know. It's just.
All right. Well, maybe it's not as Jackie
You're adding
Gleason.
an extra syllable.
I'm not trying to hum and hum with it.
Ha.
I'm not humming my head in my ha's,
Jesus.
but he's got that cadence, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But that's the difference of radio versus television.
But you
Yeah.
can't be excited on television.
You can, but
Gus Johnson's excited all the
yeah,
time.
I
on
can't
television.
stand him.
Well, maybe it's just Gus's version of excitement.
J.K. Dobbins. Like every freaking time the guy gets the football. From LaGrange, Texas.
It's
enough.
Well, that's what I mean. So why does Kevin Hart? Let's listen to that one more time. But before, Josh, listen to this, Harry.
We got Lombo coming up at 1.
We
too.
do. And we'll take the text board. I know we've been neglecting it first, but we found something to go on, and we'll get to Glenn and EHT on the line and all the things that we normally do here. Twitch channel's open from MP Roach 01 and Fisterball, who have weighed in already. Kevin Harlan's awesome. Also, MP Roach 01, he did have the rubber bands coming out of his cheeks, just to remind you.
I thought so.
We
Now-
told you he had rubber bands coming out of his cheeks,
No,
not
but-
staples.
But you have to affix them to your cheeks.
he tied them. He tied
Yeah,
them
to
to his
what?
beard.
Into his
To his
beard?
beard. You never see it Be Real on Cypress Hill?
No,
He-
I
they
was
said-
not looking at Be Real.
Oh, you should have been.
Okay.
Be Real.
Jesus.
Be Real's one of the. Be Real. You know, Be Real could be a guy that has been around forever. You know, you should not
Really?
discount
You
the
think
long-
I'm identifying with Be
Cypress Hill. That's
Real? Yeah, I know.
that's the guy
I know,
from Cypress Hill.
I know.
I'm identifying with Cypress
Well,
Hill.
that's not surprising.
First album came out when I was in 6th grade. And-
6th grade.
And that guy, I'm 41. That guy has been synonymous. You talk about getting ahead of the curve. That guy has been synonymous with smoking weed and rap, two things that clearly have
He
no
was ahead of
problem.
the curve?
He was ahead of the curve.
He set the standard for weed and rap?
Okay, honestly, who did? Who did before him?
Well, I think there was a whole lot of other guys smoking a lot of weed,
But
maybe
not
they
to
weren't
the-
singing about
Yeah,
it.
that's the difference, though, right? Is that these guys were like Cypress Hill? They made a whole thing about it. Their whole second album, Hits from the Bong, like they ripped that track from Pulp Fiction, Preacher Man, Son of a Preacher Man.
Yeah, that's Dusty Springfield.
Thank you. I knew you would know who it was. That's what I'm saying. Like I think they were pioneers in their own right.
Pioneers.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I'm picturing Cypress Hill with like a coonskin cap, you know, with a bolt action rifle, walking through the prairie looking for his meal.
with the joint hanging out of his
Exactly
mouth.
right.
All right. There you go. A little Cypress.
Pioneers.
Let's get Glenn up here in the
Oh,
EHT before we
man.
hit the text board. Glenn. Yes, sir.
Glenny.
We might have
You
lost
must be
Glenn.
gone.
That's fine.
All right.
We'll hit the text board, 609-403-0973. You probably heard that last piece. It was like this
Yeah, this show stinks.
Mike from Villas, it doesn't matter who has the most TD passes at the end of the year. Brady probably is going to retire. Reports of his and his trainer's house up for sale. Breeze has too many weapons to retire. Like, I don't think Tom Brady We can bring Mutnansky back. We can bring a bunch of these people up in Boston. There's a general belief, Harry, that Tom Brady would go play for another team
Right.
before he retires.
I can't see it, but
Well, did you see it with Joe Montana?
no. But Joe Montana had Steve Young behind him. Who was the Steve
Okay.
Young for the New England Patriots?
Fair enough. Before the whole,
Pretty good point.
that was a decent point. That's a good point.
I mean, that guy ended up being a Hall of Famer
Not bad.
too. That
Not
Steve
bad.
Young.
That's Steve
I don't know that Jarrett Stidham or whatever his name is going to be a Hall of Famer.
That's
much
Steve
less a
Young.
starter.
Okay, so then what about Indianapolis? Did you see at any point in Peyton Manning's career them pushing him out?
Well, he had the neck fusion
yeah, okay,
injury.
but that's what I'm saying.
And I was begging for Andy Reid to bring him to Philadelphia. So yes, I could say I
They
was.
started Curtis Painter for an entire season. They were tanking before this
Oh, I
whole
know.
thing was
Well,
cliche.
now that I called out, what's his name, Polian. I called him the accidental GM genius because it's exactly what he did. He puts on the shelf an injured Hall of Famer to bring in this scrub backup that they had,
Right.
knowing that they're not going to win any games, and it's going to set us up for Andrew Luck.
Right.
Now Andrew Luck's career, ended up fizzling out due to injury, but it was a pretty shrewd move.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're definitely right on that, where it played out, but it was also something along the lines of moving on from guys. Like, nobody's safe. I don't think the Patriots will do everything they can to keep him. And if Brady is like, all right,
I still got a year or
I'd
two
rather
left
play.
in me.
Yeah,
He could go to the Los Angeles Chargers, and you could go from Phillip Rivers to an old Tom Brady.
correct.
Because here's the thing, and a lot of people don't, really focus on this because it's not often that we haven't had a lot of new football stadiums lately, but now we got a couple, Vegas and Los Angeles. You don't open new big venues worth $1 billion+ unless you have sizzle. You got to have it.
It's
Even
true.
if it's the NFL,
It's
you
true.
still have to have it. The Raiders will probably move on from Derek Carr. I don't think Gruden likes him, and I don't think he's enough sizzle for Las Vegas.
Right.
Okay. And Los Angeles, you got
Phillip
Goff.
Rivers
They're
is out.
stuck with Goff for a while.
Yeah.
But Phillip Rivers is probably done.
His contract's
So
up.
what are you going to do? What better way to sort of, if you're the Chargers, who are a 15th class citizen on the sports landscape in Los Angeles, than to bring in a Tom Brady and have him be your guy for the final 2 years of his
That would
football
be
life?
something. Could you
Think
imagine?
about that.
And the Chargers are not a bad football
They
team.
got some talent.
Wise, yeah. And
Think
I'm not
about
blaming
that.
it all on Phillip Rivers. That would be some. If that happens, we'll come back to this day on December 17th.
Mark it down.
And it's too bad you can't place a futures on that.
I know.
You know, that's the difference.
I know.
Now, also on the text board, we're getting Snoop Dogg, but I beg to differ. While Snoop Dogg may be more associated now, although I don't even think he is more associated now, maybe as far as people that don't follow, and I'm not judging or anything like that, but people that don't necessarily know who Cypress Hill or follow rap or hip hop like that, but Be Real had this whole feature thing where he had people come in and hang in his car, like Dr. Green, like this gas mask of a car, and a lot of famous people beyond rappers.
Laramie Tunsil, was he in the
No, I think he tried to do it, and that was the take-home version. And I think he got in trouble on that.
Don't try this at home.
Exactly.
That's what Be Real should have
That's
said
right.
to him.
But-
Especially on draft night.
Cypress Hill came out 2 years before Snoop, so that's all. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Even before Dre discovered Snoop. Huh?
Before Doggy Style came out,
Jeez.
Cypress Hill's album's out 2 years before that.
Hmm.
All right. 609-403-0973. Dan from EHT. That game was an embarrassment last night. When Breeze threw that last TD to run up the score, someone should have body slammed his shoulder into the ground.
Well, how about the first time that they thought they broke the record? They called a penalty flag, and it was
That was
offensive pass interference.
That was. It wasn't on Ginn. It was on. Was it on? No, it wasn't on Ginn. It was the kid who caught the touchdown.
What, number 10, I think?
Yes.
Because he had two, I think, last night. One that counted, one that didn't count.
You're right. You're right.
I don't
Drew
know.
Brees equals Leo. Now Leo, though, I think has more. Like Leo has more than the equivalent of one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like Leo, I think would be closer to a guy like, like a 2 or 3 time. There aren't
2,
many.
3 Super Bowl. Yeah, there aren't many. I'll tell you, once you get 2, you're really entering rarefied air.
And I think that's
You know what I mean?
Leo's probably in 2 Super Bowl territory
Mhm.
as opposed to 1. Also, I can't get test call of Lamar Jackson, quote, We got a Jackson 5 out of my head, so I think we're stuck.
Really?
Yeah, here's the
He
thing.
did that?
He did. What's worse? What's worse? Is it Joe Tessitore stealing? And you were right. He stole that line from. Who was it that he stole it from? God. Can we hear the Tessitore again?
What, the 540 and the 504?
No, there was something. Oh, yes. He stole from.
Oh, the Marv
Oh,
Albert. That's a Marv
yeah.
Albert homage.
Correct. Well, you can't homage somebody who's never been on that platform. Has Marv Albert ever called Monday Night Football on TV? No.
Nobody's called football.
You can't. No, that's.
Marv Albert's an all-timer.
That's splitting hair. For you to go yes on Monday Night Football is you do that for NBA games.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, yeah, Mike Breen can do that and give an homage. See,
You can't go
No.
on a long pass from downtown.
Oh,
Bang!
no.
You can't do that.
Can you imagine?
On football, you
can
can't
you
conflate
imagine?
the two?
No, if Joe Tessitore did that, they'd run him out of the building.
Oh, I doubt it.
Now look, what's worse? Is it, and I still think this is an omen. This is a bad sign.
An
but
omen.
I kept my mouth shut. Yes. Because it happened on our airwaves because we carry the Philadelphia Eagles on 97.3. But
Love Mike Breen.
me too. Mike is amazing. Great guy.
Yes.
So is it that? Is it Joe Tessitore ripping off Marv Albert? Or is it... That's a yes. That's a ripoff. That would be like if Harry Mays was on some... what was that? Is that the yes again?
That's the yes again.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a ripoff. Is it that, or is it our own Mike Quick, who, quote unquote, I'm not going to say ripped off because he's our own guy here, paraphrased while explicitly saying the same phrase, taking from Dandy Don, turn out the
Oh,
lights.
turn out the lights, the party's over?
Yep.
Well, you know that's from a song that Willie
Turn
Nelson
out the
made
lights. Right.
famous.
But Dandy Don made it famous in a broadcast. He
Correct.
also played for the Cowboys.
True.
So...
He was also probably inebriated and a fan of country
absolutely,
music,
absolutely.
which fits.
Hammered and a
Yeah.
fan of country music.
Right.
I get that. But
Turn out the
he's
lights.
a cowboy. If you're quick, can you really do that?
That's
Leading up to the Cowboys
that's
game?
kind of a violation.
Did you see the latest quote tweet that I had today?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Caller or host? Who do you think said that?
Again, I'm going to go back to exactly what I said yesterday. There's a certain host that I can envision saying, and in fact, when I saw your tweet, I mimicked it.
Nobody named Dallas! You can... How great was that? Bench him now. You can't trust a guy named Dallas against the Cowboys. He's working for the enemy. Bench him now. It's Amazing 8 Time. We'll hit you up on Twitch. One Crazy Greek 08. You sound like the Roadrunner. Was that me doing the Kevin Harlan?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
It's amazing. I love it. Back after this. We'll tell you about something great going on Thursday. Have some time to flex a little bit because we have now 3 free passes for you to enjoy at Bury the Hatchet. And we're going to give those out this show. So if you're on Twitch, Mason Aton, you're on Twitter, at Harry Mays TU, at Shander Show, or on the text board, 609-403-0973. You let us know at the end of your comment you're interested. We'll qualify you for a free round at Bury the Hatchet.
See now,
That does look like a staple, right?
here it looks like he's got a paper clip stuck in his cheek with the rubber band hanging off the paper clip. That's the guy I remember.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash.
There's some sort of piercing there.
Maybe there is, because it's all in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a show.
Who's in, who's out? Johnny Mac has football at 4, and it's a Tuesday with Thompson, 5:15 on the Sports Bash. The Sports Bash.
I'm just trying to
From 2 to 6 on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's
freaking show for Monday Night Football. They got
I am so ready for football season. Are you? You better be in college with a huge play on Saturday. Pro football on
Like all
Sunday.
these little
With the best
fixtures
My
that they
Guys
put
at
in
the
there
number one
every
casino in
week.
Pennsylvania, Parks Casino and Sportsbook. My Guys at Parks Casino and Sportsbook have it all in person or online. Download the Parks Casino Sportsbook app right now in the App Store. Go to parkscasino.com/PA. Use promo code SWEEP, SWEEP. SWEEP. Get a risk-free bet of up to $250
They
on
do
your
that
first
segment.
deposit. Parkscasino.com/PA. Again, PARX. Casino.com/PA and use promo code SWEEP to get your risk-free bet of up to $250. Parks Casino and Sportsbook. My Guys, they should be the guys you trust as well. Place all your favorite sports bets, point spreads, money lines, even line, in-game betting. Sign up now, get a risk-free bet of
Right
up to
there,
$250 on your
Who's
first
there for
deposit.
4
Promo
fucking
code
hours?
SWEEP. Get your risk-free bet of up to $250. Risk-free bet is refunded by losses for bet. Must be in Pennsylvania.
Those are money, right? That's how you do it. Like, okay, you're in Austin. Okay, that's great. But we're also going to get my perspective from my living room.
decisions.
Like, fucking sauce it up, bro.
Independence Blue Cross helps you make the choices that are right for you. It's just one
Yeah,
more way
it's-
we are helping members throughout the
There's
Philadelphia
a bunch
region
there.
make
It's
better,
like
more informed healthcare choices. Because we believe caring is help when you need it
Really
most.
put it in bold face type for me.
Independence Blue Cross.
That
Learn more
idiot.
at IBX.com.
Because too much Costas.
This football season, visit the Great American Pub, where you'll find good food, great times, and good football.
Oh,
Right, like
trying
They'll come
like a
together at the
broadcast
Great American
meeting,
Pub.
you know,
Check
getting
the
the
game at
numbers
any of the
right,
three
and
Great
it's
American Pub locations.
you know,
In
it's
Contra
up
Hawk,
that.
Red Wayne,
Go
and Phoenixville.
nuts,
Go to
right, you know?
thegreatamericanpub.com.
Say something.
Great American Pub.
Once in a
Good
while.
food, great times, and good
You don't
football.
have to make a
Your
you know,
plans are covered
no,
from start to finish.
you're not a
The
shot. I
Great
don't want to be a
American
shot,
Pub, your
but
location of
that's
the
my
Great
change.
Anytime Show. Make your next game out at the Great American Pub.
If you run a business in Pennsylvania,
I think you're right.
or Delaware, you're familiar with workers' comp insurance. Did you know Pennsylvania
that makes a lot of sense.
rates have dropped this year? Let Lighthouse Commercial Insurance help you
Yeah.
take full advantage of the change.
But his
Think about how
numbers.
many people that
They know the most
are in charge
aggressive
to that guy's credit that don't even know that or don't even
Right,
recognize that.
right.
1686. That's 800-691-1686. Or visit online at lighthouse.ins.biz.
Incorrigible.
Real estate classes, the premier real estate school in Philadelphia.
Just incorrigible.
Courses to get your real
Buddy, I'm gonna have to move you.
continuing education and more. Go to PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com. They offer affordable pricing in
All right,
various
some of these
locations,
numbers, man,
including
Dallas.
licensing courses
Yeah.
with
This ain't looking good. I don't know when you want to get into it. You want to wait till tomorrow or
No,
we're gonna have Jason tomorrow.
day, night, and weekend courses.
But we have Lombo too, so maybe we can even save it for Thursday, Friday.
It's totally your call.
As we get
Just make
closer.
sure, if we don't do it today, make sure you save it.
Yeah, well, I have it here.
On the golf course, you can add these 4 words into your training and
No.
lifestyle. Traditional, time,
Really text board stuff. We're
Yeah.
gonna take a
massage
call.
is relaxing and
We
energizing.
can do either. We've got a bunch of text.
Designed to increase your flexibility. Try it now. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including a better score. Call Asan Time Massage right now. 215-663-9376. 215-663-9376. Asan Time Massage. They aim to heal.
Get to the landmark in
No,
Icon
come on.
Water Glassboro for what will be a great football experience, a great nightlife experience, or anything you
not
want
great.
it to be experience. The
thought
landmark
Lee's
is
was better.
Americana. It's a
Didn't we have a
We
lead?
make good hoagies
Akon and McMullen, presented
and like
by
cheesesteaks
Corona
and
South
stuff, but
Jersey's
I've never gotten wings.
Wings are great.
They're not
You're right,
good.
the hoagies are
Yeah, the
exceptional.
hoagies are good.
I got a hoagie, but I'm not eating it right now.
You leave. Go to the landmark Americana in Glassboro this football
There's like
season.
15 of those around here.
Who you'll
Yep.
see.
Achieving perfection requires feedback.
Wasn't there one in Valor right by us? On the, at the Fanatic?
F-150 driver who rips up tree stumps, tows boats, builds houses, plows
Guy
snow,
from,
moves friends across town, and hauls every
Philly
heavy
Business
thing under
Journal
the
sitting
sun.
up.
We've gotten your feedback, and it looks good. Ford F-Series has
Yeah.
been America's best-selling trucks for 42 straight years. But we won't stop there, because the only thing sweeter than 42 years is 43. Ford F-150, built Ford tough.
A new law
That's
helps
a
survivors
great
of
picture.
Oh, yeah, I read
sexual
this.
abuse take legal action. Jeff
Cancel
Anderson and
culture.
Associates attorney Greg
Who wrote it?
I'll tell you about it.
Visit itsTimeNewJersey.com.
Somebody in the
or
New York
confidentially
Times.
today, 1-800-ITS-TIME.
80 South Main Street, Phillipsburg, New Jersey, 08865.
This is Joe Krause at Team Section. You guys tell me you call us a slightly
Yeah.
worn coat or jacket. Help veterans in need stay warm this winter.
You want to take the calls here? Or
Yeah.
What's this?
Law firm for workers.
Say something.
Those who serve.
Read the highlight.
This is Mays and A-Time with Harry Mays
Ah.
and A-Time Shander on 97.3
How many times have you heard that?
ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, we got a couple of people waiting on hold here, so we're going to oblige and get to Glenn and Tom.
We're gonna go back to back
Yep.
on the phones.
Yep, back to back.
Man.
And then we're going to hit the text board, and then we're going to talk to Matt Lombardo, who's going to join us on the Lighthouse Insurance guest line. So we're going to do a lot in 11 minutes.
And a lot of texts too in the next hour.
Correct.
All right.
Correct. I heard that guy's back in jail.
Is he?
That's what
Arthur?
I heard that.
Correct.
I hope not.
Wow.
We need him
I
to
always
call our
enjoyed
show.
him.
Me too.
Yeah.
And he would call.
Yeah.
He would call me. I don't know if did you guys ever get him?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's get to Glenn first up, who is home and is back. Glenn. Hey, buddy.
What's up, man?
Good, man. Harry, I can't believe you let the broadcasters dictate whether you'd watch the game or not.
It's the first time it's happened.
I mean,
First time it's ever happened.
It's a pretty bad broadcast, Glenn.
those guys, Booker seems as informative as any.
He's
he's informed.
I like Booger.
I'm not doubting his knowledge, don't get me wrong, but it's about presentation and about my ears. And, you know, it's just like the matchups aren't that great anymore most weeks. Like, I really didn't care about the game last night. I didn't bet it, and I didn't, even if I would have bet it, I don't need to hear it. Like, that's where I've become. Unless the Eagles are playing Monday night, that's the only way I watch it, guaranteed.
Yeah, only guy that really ever bothered me, and I really try not to let these guys dictate anything, but I never liked, I can't think of, Mike Tirico.
Oh, Tirico?
He always annoyed me.
Really?
Why? I'm curious.
I think he's really good.
I feel like Mike is more harmless than anything.
Yeah. He doesn't get in the way at all. He doesn't try to make it about him.
Maybe that's what bothers Glenn.
I never bought into it.
Yeah. We're having kind of a bad
Yeah,
we got a bad echo going
I don't
here.
know what's going on, buddy, but call us back when tomorrow because we're losing you a little bit here.
There's
get
like
to-
an echo going on, I think.
Well, a man who doesn't need an echo because his voice booms enough
Oh.
and his reputation precedes him. That's Tom in Summers Point. And he's on with us now. Hey, Tom.
What's up, Tom?
Hey, fellas, what kind of reputation is that? Is it a bad one?
No, it's good.
Now, listen, if it was a bad one, then we'd tell.
That's all good.
We'd let everybody know.
All right, listen, I don't want to talk drugs or gambling today. Let's talk Eagles. Hey, Don, you said something yesterday about you don't know that the Eagles' offense can be sustainable. Why not the way they're running right now?
Well, because I haven't seen it for more than a half over the last two games.
Well, I got to see it against a better team too. Like it's just the, you know.
But even okay, but real quick, Tom.
Bring Aguilar back.
No, I don't want Aguilar.
We don't want Aguilar back.
You go, no, I understand that, but you go backwards with Aguilar. You're a worse team with Aguilar. Look, that catch Greg Ward made, Aguilar doesn't make that catch, and these kids are, look, everybody gave Wentz a hard time saying he threw Alshon under the bus. What he did was, he talked about the offense they're running now at that present moment. Look, he looked around, they look fresh faces. They're eager. Look, I love this offense. And one thing Wentz had, he has speed now.
You know, is it sustainable beyond a win against Dallas? I think they can put together an effort and still beat the Dallas Cowboys and get yourself into the playoffs. Beyond that, I mean, you're not. You don't mean you're going into this offense into next season, except you're pushing these guys back like
Right.
a Ward back down to like a fourth receiver, kind of where he belongs, kind of thing, right?
I'm not worried about next season. I'm worried about Sunday. Now, here's another thing. Everybody said how two bad teams we played with, and they were still divisional opponents, which we all know that's tough. Divisional opponents, no matter what their records are, it's always a gunfight. And listen, Wentz, look, 7-game winning drives. People that don't like Wentz, I believe, just expect him to be perfect all the time, which is.
Yeah, you're right about that, and I'm not one of those people. You know that. I love Wentz.
Absolutely. Listen, you know what? There's not. You can watch any game in the NFL, and my buddy will text me for watching the game. Will text me, "Oh, see, that's the throw that he has to make."
You can watch any game and watch any quarterback. I've seen Russell Wilson miss wide open receivers in the end zone. It happens.
Well, here's the thing he needs to clean up, though, Tom. He needs to clean up the fumbling.
Fumbles.
I'm telling you. I mean, 44 fumbles in 54 games is staggering to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but listen, I'm glad that we have Wentz and not Jameis Winston and the quarterbacks of that caliber, because we have a franchise quarterback, and they always say an elite quarterback elevates the players around him.
Well, that's happening now.
He elevated the players around him Sunday.
Yep.
Yes. And so he's answering all the questions.
All right, Tom.
All right,
Appreciate
Tom,
it.
appreciate
Good
it, man.
phone call.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
don't know, man. I think it's unrealistic to continue to base everything on week-to-week performance and have this bar that's set abnormally high. Like, if you're still looking at a Super Bowl this year to gauge if Carson Wentz is elite or whatever other ridiculous, hypothetical, arbitrary thing you're surrounding him with, I don't know what to tell you.
Carson Wentz, 24 of 31 for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. That's his last 2 games in the fourth quarter.
It's impressive.
That is pretty darn impressive. Say it's the Redskins and Giants, I get that. But that's still unbelievable numbers. Now, his last 8 games, he's lost 7 of 14 fumbles. That needs to be cleaned up.
That's going to kill anything that you just laid out initially.
Yeah.
That's going to really hurt you. That's
Right.
going to set you back significantly.
We got Lombo coming up,
That's
and
right.
we got the text board. We have to hit that.
Do we have anything else we need to address? We'll do
No,
our best.
we'll figure it out.
Back after this.
10 seconds.
Trying to figure out what happens.
Davio's Northern Italian Steakhouse is located on the second floor of the historic Provident Bank Building in the heart of Philadelphia, near Woodward House. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Davio's offers private dining rooms available for large and
yeah.
small groups.
It goes from like
Gracious
7 to 10.
hospitality and an attendant dining room staff provide every guest an exceptional experience. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Join us for power lunch.
You know what it means?
happy hour,
Okay.
or
Well,
Sunday
I never
No,
knew.
no, no,
So
no.
I read it.
It's all about the guest.
Dry Guys of South Jersey wants to know if you have sticking doors and windows. If so, it could be a foundation problem, and this family-owned business wants to help. They use over 30 patented products and warranties that will repair bowing and will replace cracked or leaky foundation walls. If your home is settling, Dry Guys will give you a lift. Call 844-470-4808, 844-470-4808, or visit DryGuysOnAir.com. Take the first step. You'll be glad you did. Go to DryGuysOnAir.com. Heard it work? Go right now to InjuredWorkers.com. When you're injured on the job, your family is injured as well. Turn to a firm of legal attorneys that can help, that care, and that you can count on. Go to InjuredWorkers.com or Malamutt and Associates. Nobody plans to get injured. When it happens, you need InjuredWorkers.com. Get the help you need from InjuredWorkers.com.
What I'm saying to you, that's what I told my wife. I'm like, look at this guys right now. This is true. We're gonna highlight this
Great times and good
thing,
football. Any
but
way
we're
you
gonna
like it.
bury
It all comes
somewhere
together at
in
the
here.
Great American Pub.
I'll do
Catch the
it.
game in any of
To
the
that.
three Great American
I
Pub
bet you
locations.
looked at that
Roger
person
Hopkins,
who wrote it.
and Phoenix North.
Guaranteed.
Go to the
Guaranteed.
GreatAmericanPub.com. The Great
Their
American
history
Pub.
and everything that came with
Great
it.
times and good football mean your weekends are covered from start to finish. The Great American Pub, the preferred location of the Maze and Eitan Show. Make your next game out at the Great American Pub.
No, I agree.
Robin Stoloff, brought to you by the Wound Care Clinic of South Jersey
Absolutely,
and Jersey
yeah.
Shore Medical Alliance.
If you're traveling over the holidays, prepare in
It's-
advance.
it is something else,
With
man.
some of the toughest travel pitfalls. For a longer trip, pack some healthy meals along with extra snacks. Avoid sodas and sugary drinks, and opt for lots of water, which not only hydrate you, but also
Now what are you
helps
getting
prevent
into?
hunger. And do your best to avoid germs. Dr. Mehmet Oz of the Dr. Oz Show calls airplanes
What are you getting
incubators for
into?
illness. He advises us to pack a hand sanitizer and use it early and often,
All
which
right.
can reduce
Lombo.
our chance of getting sick by
We gotta bring up the
80%.
Irishman
And
thing.
find ways to keep moving. Take a break.
Yeah,
get out
I'm
of
gonna
the
go back
car,
to his
get from your
Twitter.
seat on a plane or a train. With a little preparation, we can maintain good health while traveling. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update, wishing you a happy and healthy holiday and New Year.
Brought to you by the Wound Care Clinic of South Jersey. Expert care with a compassionate touch. And Jersey Shore Medical Alliance Sports Medicine and Aesthetics. Hey, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Quicken Loans is celebrating our best quarter ever. And now we're celebrating some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates are historically low. You may be able to reduce your rate and save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. This is your chance. Pay off some credit card debt or put some money towards that new bathroom or kitchen you've always wanted. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%. APR 4.18%. That's right.
I did like a 9-team heavy favorite, so I didn't take anybody that was less than the Seahawks at minus 250. They all hit except for the Niners, and because the odds were so heavy in the three-team parlay, like round robin, ace. I barely broke even because the odds were so fucking heavy. It's crazy. Meanwhile, the difference between 8-4 last week and 7-5 this week are the 12 things. Remember we did the college picks last week, so this week I did mostly NFL.
Yeah.
So I went 8-4 last week and I went 7-5 this week. That one game was the difference of me winning. Now again, odds shifted a little bit in the games, but it wasn't like heavy odds or anything. That one game was the difference of me winning like 300 and now me losing basically the juice. Going 7-5 in a 12-team 4 parlay round robin. You're gonna have to wait. Every time I let you out there, it's raining. I'm right back in. And you just pooped before the show. All right?
Children's lives, one touchdown at a time. AudibleForAutism.org.
The radio home of Carson Wentz, Carter Hart, and Joel Embiid. 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJHD, Millville, Atlantic City. Rombo is ready. The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the main show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eitan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eitan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
Normally it's me who blindsides our next guest, but I think it's your turn now since you actually have the tweet.
Oh, it is? Yeah, I'm trying to find the tweet. There's so many damn tweets at Matt Lombardo NFL, I can't even find it. But I know the sentiment of it, and I commented on
Are
it.
you sure you want to go sentiment here? This is a journalist we're talking to now. This
Well,
is not a radio guy or Tom from Summers Point who's going to afford you those liberties. If you call a journalist like Matt Lombardo out on something specific, you better have the ammunition, the proper shells for the gauge.
Yeah, no, I hear you saying that's a very that's a good point. But it was basically the Irishman double greater than sign Goodfellas, and instead of saying like "don't at me," he went through like don't fall prey to others saying that this movie blows. And he defended the Irishman big time and said it was better than Goodfellas.
Now,
I gave him a hashtag GT
FOH.
FOH.
Yeah.
Yeah, GTFOH.
That pretty much sums it
I
up.
had to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Not only did you have to do it, Matt Lombardo did not have to do that. You realize it.
It was unsolicited.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
This is akin to you putting out something on NJ.com right now at 1:03 Tuesday, December 17th, saying, Eli Manning really does deserve another year as the Giants starting quarterback. Let's wait another year for Daniel Jones. You'd get roasted.
I would. Let's bring him on.
No, I'm talking to Lambo.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I don't know.
The hell, you don't write for NJ.com.
No, I thought you were saying if I did that.
No, I thought he was on with us.
Oh, yeah, he's there. He's on the Lighthouse Insurance guest line. Matt Lombardo, at Matt Lombardo NFL, of course, covers the Giants for NJ.com and can talk all things football. What's up, Lombo? What say you?
You know what? I can tell I hit a third with how quickly you replied back with the GTOH. Sit down, invest the time, watch it. I'll say that
I did.
A lot of people defended watching Henry Hill in Goodfellas, and maybe it helped that I read the book beforehand, and I loved the book, but, I just enjoyed this movie a lot more than when I watched Goodfellas years ago.
Well, Henry Hill is a real guy as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Of course.
Okay.
I understand.
And Goodfellas, pretty long movie
But
as
there
well.
was no book. See, now I hear
I
something
think there
here.
was a book.
There was?
Yeah.
Because Lambo is like saying, I've read the book. Like some people roll that out there, like, well,
Right.
you know what? I know more, and I can appreciate it more because I read the book.
Is that what's
this
going
might
on
be-
right now?
I think because I read the book within the last month, knowing the movie was coming out, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was even more in depth in print than what the movie was. That when I watched the movie unfold, I kind of knew what was going on going into it, and the way the characters came to life, I appreciated. I'm not even sure kind of sound pompous when I say that. I think it just helped me enjoy the movie more than maybe people who sat down and watched for 4 hours not knowing what they were getting into.
All right,
How many
that's
more
fair.
of these Hoffa things we need?
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
I can't take
And-
Pacino as Hoffa.
Yeah, seriously, we just talked about how Joe Tessitore ripped off and tried to now be the representation for Drew Brees' historic moment by ripping off Marv Albert. These guys, the audacity. The first Hoffa by Jack Nicholson was a pretty masterful performance. Shame on these guys for trying to come in and one-upping it.
Yeah, but I think it's from a little bit of a different angle, though, because this is from Nick Sheeran's perspective, and you get his side of what he claims happened with his life story. And the fact that a lot of it was based in Philly, and, the surrounding, central Pennsylvania hub where a lot of these, gangsters with ties to Hoffa came from, that might have hit home a little bit more for me as well.
Well, look, Boardwalk Empire was based in and around Philadelphia, Atlantic City,
Tremendous.
even north. That was an atrocity of what they did.
Yeah, but
to
after
the
Darmody
history of the show.
was killed, I had nothing for that show.
Well, yes, from an action and drama standpoint, correct. And even still, the damage they did to the history of what really happened was insulting to me, Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe that's where reading the book, it kind of tracked what happened in the storyline.
Ah, okay.
In The Irishman, so that kind of, the familiarity going into the movie might have helped me versus guys that are just sitting down on the couch watching.
All right, let's get to the football because
Are
I
you
need,
sure?
I need to know.
I'm not done yet.
You're not?
No.
Well, you need to have him on your other shows. We
Well,
only have so much time here.
is that right? I
Yeah.
feel like this is the one show that we have the most time.
Is it?
Yes. All right. Now, what other egregious comparison would you put The Irishman above? Now, is this better than Gone with the Wind? Is this better than To Kill a Mockingbird? Is this better than Spartacus?
No, I just think it's going to be one of the favorites to win Best Picture this year. Probably deserves to be. And just comparing apples to apples for Safety mob movies, I like The Irishman better. Different strokes for different
Now, are you going to be watching the award shows then?
Oh, you're fully invested now.
Oh, I typically am. I love making the big prediction sheet and checking them off as you go along. It's a
Wow.
tradition unlike any other in our household other than what happened today.
This sounds like he might be hosting a party. An Oscars party.
Don't worry, we're not going to be invited.
For that part.
No, you don't.
No. I don't. All right. Well, hold on a second. How good are you on Golden Globe stuff?
And see, I don't track the Golden Globes quite as well. It's usually when the Oscar nominees come out, you watch all the nominations, you from an educated opinion. Too many nominees for the Golden Globes, too many categories for me to really dive into.
All right, because I have odds on the Golden Globes. I also have odds on the Grammys, and I'm going to guess you're going to say the same thing, right? Or are you willing to put $100 on Lizzo, "Cause I Love You" at plus 350
Hey,
for Album of the Year?
I probably would. That's a winner.
Over Billie Eilish?
Yeah,
Who?
You gotta go Lizzo then.
Yeah.
You gotta ride the
I didn't even give you the other odds.
You know,
Ariana Grande's plus 350 with "Thank You Next." So soon you forget.
We don't need to know. Lizzo is co-hosting with Eddie Murphy this Saturday Night Live.
Lana Del Rey, Norman effing. I thought Lana Del Rey is a porn star.
That sounds like Lana Del Rey.
Is that who it
I
is?
think that she's a porn
Are
star.
they different people?
I don't know.
At this point, who the hell knows, man?
All right, I got to know, how many tears did you shed when Eli Manning got his curtain call last Sunday?
Yeah, I didn't shed any tears, Harry. I said going into this thing that
That's not fair.
If they were orchestrating this by, playing out Daniel Jones' ankle injury, by the way, he was walking, wearing his socks on through the locker room many
times last week, running full speed wind sprints after practice when the media was in the field house last week. He looked like he was healthy enough to go.
Right.
I still think that it's a colossal mistake not to get him as many snaps as possible, to work on his ball security issues, identifying the defensive fronts pre-snap, working with Darius Slayton and Saquon Barkley and Sterling Shepard, and building that chemistry going into next year. I still think that if the Giants played this out or orchestrated this Eli Manning farewell, then shame on them, and that's how you wind up missing the playoffs 7 of the last 8 years because of that sentimental thinking. But now that you watch it unfold and you watch the curtain call and you saw afterwards Eli Manning get to hug his 3 young daughters and his infant son and have that moment with his family, you can appreciate what he meant to the Giants franchise and to the fan base. But now that that's over with, if Daniel Jones is healthy, he needs to be out there against Washington and against the Eagles in Week 17. There's no reason for him to play another down this season, and I think that we've probably seen the last of Eli Manning in a Giants uniform and maybe on an NFL field.
But wouldn't he want to go out with a winning record?
Well, he's 500 now, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
one more game, you win that, you get the winning record.
I don't think they can guarantee him a win.
Where's he going to go do that, Eitan?
Right.
Are the Bears going to sign him next year, and they're going to think he's a better?
No, I thought there are 2 more games for the Giants to play.
Well, yeah, the Giants play the Redskins and the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, if you believe Daniel Jones is your franchise quarterback in the future, maybe they don't, and maybe that's part of this. But I tend to think they believe Daniel Jones is their future. You're doing yourself and him and your future a disservice by putting him on the bench to get Eli Manning another curtain call. And I don't know that Eli Manning beats Washington, and I don't know that Eli Manning beats the Eagles in 2 weeks. I think Jones gives you the best chance to win those games. I'm not so sure that you want to, given what's at stake with Chase Young.
Well, that's my question. Yeah.
I think it'd be better served playing Alex Tanny games and saying, hey, you've been the good foot soldier as a backup quarterback here, the number 3 quarterback a year ago. If Jones isn't healthy enough or you're trying to tank, I think you play Alex Tanny those last 2 games and you preserve that lasting memory for Eli in his final MetLife game against the Dolphins.
See, now that's interesting. Like, how, that's what was my question. Like, how badly should they want to win these games? Because, I mean, obviously the Bengals are going to, get the number 1 pick,
Right.
but that number 2 pick is, you could say it's more valuable than the number 1 because they already have a quarterback.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And whoever is picking number 2, whether it's the Dolphins or whether it's Washington, both of those teams need pass rushers.
Yeah.
So you're not going to really overwhelm either one of those teams to make trade up. Maybe Miami, if they're going to take a risk that 2 is fully healthy, or they want to take one of the other quarterbacks, but you'll probably trade back if you're taking Justin Herbert or another one of those QBs
Right.
rather than taking number 2. So maybe you could, overwhelm Washington with Miami with a trade package, but if the Redskins are thinking second, they're taking Chase Young, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So if you're the Giants, do you entertain playing Alex Tanny this week and hoping that you can make it look competitive and lose the game? Maybe maybe it's a smart thing to do.
Has there ever been a quarterback from Monmouth get a start in the NFL?
Wasn't there an Eagles quarterback?
From Monmouth?
Yeah. 3rd string.
Dartmouth there was.
No, I thought it was like 3rd or 4th string. Was it the time that Tebow was here?
I don't think the Monmouth. There's a different Monmouth versus the one that Alex Tanny played at. So that might be a third.
Oh, okay. So this is Monmouth in Illinois,
This
not
is
Monmouth in New
no,
Jersey.
No.
But this is even lesser known.
Well, depending on the area.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
That's unbelievable.
Is that
Monmouth
accurate?
College in Illinois.
Monmouth College in Illinois, yeah. So I believe there was a Monmouth from the Monmouth in New Jersey that might have been a quarterback, but I don't know if there's been a Monmouth in Illinois.
Well, I know they had a wide receiver with the Dallas Cowboys from Monmouth in New Jersey. Yep. Miles Austin, right?
Miles Austin.
Yeah.
And Reggie Boy Jr. Has been on the Giants practice squad, a wide receiver all season as well. So there's been some players that have come out of Monmouth in New Jersey, but that's interesting. I'll go back and look that up and see if there's been a quarterback from either Monmouth who started in the NFL.
Have you placed an early wager yet on Penn State?
What's the number?
7,
I
I think.
haven't looked at the number yet.
Yeah,
I think it's 7.
I'd probably take Penn State because I think it's going to be a shootout. And I think Penn State's defense is good enough to get a stop when needed. So I think I go with Penn State minus the 7 against Memphis.
You think that line's going to climb?
Nah, I don't.
I have it at 6.
You have it at 6?
Yeah.
Oh.
Memphis is slowly losing. LSU right now is at 14. Your thoughts?
What?
I'm going to lock LSU in right now.
Yeah, lock him in.
Are we losing you?
It sounds like it.
Oh, I'm checking.
Yeah, his phone's like clipping.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm
Yeah.
locking LSU in as we speak.
Oh, you are?
Minus 14, would you? I don't imagine that getting any lower.
No, I can't imagine.
It opened at 13.
It did? Yeah. I thought it was 12.
Oh, no,
12
you're
and a
right.
half.
You're
It
right.
was like 12 or 12 and a half, I thought.
And it moved to 13.
Yeah.
And as I tried to get in,
All right, we got Lombo back on a better line.
right.
What are you going to just...
I would take LSU minus the 13 or minus the 14. Doesn't make a big difference. You think they're the best team in college football, and I think that they're runaway favorite to win the whole thing, in my opinion. So yeah, I would take the 13 and 14 in the semifinal.
Now, Joe Burrow as an NFL quarterback, the kid is unbelievably accurate. Obviously, he's processing at the line of scrimmage with an NFL-type offense at LSU, courtesy of their coordinator. How good of a quarterback does Lombo project him at this point?
Yeah, I think that, it depends on the situation and depends if A.J. Green is going to be there next year for him to throw to. But I think that he has a chance to be a top 20 quarterback immediately and maybe a top 12 to 15 quarterback in the NFL by year 2. I really like his skill set. I really like the way he processes information, how quickly he gets rid of the football on time, accurately, all of those things. And I think that the Bengals are going to be happy to have him, and we can look forward to, in that division, some great showdowns in the future with Burrow and Lamar Jackson for years to come.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And whoever... Well, you're leaving Baker Mayfield out of the discussion?
We've seen Baker Mayfield here. We've seen his regression with all the talent he has around him. Listen, I think that they're going to need to do something about the head coach, because I think that Brett Kitchens has shown himself to be in way over his head. Something certainly not right there in terms of the makeup of that offense, and more importantly, the makeup of that locker room, and a lot of the worst fears that people had about Baker and Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr., all of those personalities and egos into one locker room seems to have come to fruition. But I think until you get a competent, offensive-minded, same thing with the Giants, forward-thinking head coach with the Cleveland Browns, I think their ceiling is only so high, and that kind of limits what Baker Mayfield is able to do.
Yeah, and I guess the owner was on record as saying that he's bringing Kitchens back for another year because he doesn't want to look like one of these overly impulsive franchises. But I mean, hey,
That's great. Well, then go ahead and waste the first 3 years of your franchise quarterback's career when he's on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
And then throw him into a new system in year 4 when you have to decide whether or not you're going to extend him. So to me, I think that if the Giants move on from Pat Shurmur following an up and down rookie year from Daniel Jones and a really down year in terms of Shurmur's in-game decisions, I think that's the right path, because you're ripping the Band-Aid off and dropping jump into a new system next year. The longer you prolong this with Baker Mayfield, and the longer that he's in one system and in a dysfunctional locker room, to me, that's really detrimental to his growth and his development, how good the Browns have a chance to be or not be in the next couple of years.
all right, now the Dallas Cowboys had a huge offensive showing last week against the Rams in a game that they had to win. They ran the ball extremely well with not just Ezekiel Elliott, but basically everybody that touched the ball. Ran the ball well. Is this the Dallas Cowboys offense finally waking up and clicking at the right time, or the worst time for the Eagles, or is this just a one-off?
Yeah, I think they woke up, guys, and I think you watched that game and you saw Dak Prescott, even though he was playing a little bit hurt, sling the ball all over the yard. You saw Ezekiel Elliott do his thing, and you saw them kind of bust out of dysfunction and that malaise that's hung over them since before Thanksgiving. And then I look at the Eagles, and yes, that was a great fourth quarter, and Carson Wentz has 2 fourth quarter comebacks against 2 pretty pedestrian teams in the Giants and Washington, and just the effort that it took for the Eagles to escape Washington with a win. I just think the Cowboys are riding a lot of momentum right now. I've said this many times to you guys. I think Dallas, on paper, is the more talented football team. I think they come in and they take care of business against the Eagles and they win the division. I don't know what they do in the postseason, but I think that they kind of woke up against the Rams this past week.
So, in your thoughts,
Uh-oh.
the Cowboys NFC Championship outright winner ticket is still alive.
NFC East or NFC?
NFC.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that. I think they get whacked by Seattle or San Francisco or whoever they play in the first round. If they have to go to New Orleans in round 2, I just don't think that the Cowboys, they're good enough to beat the Eagles, but what does that even mean, the way this division has performed this year?
Yeah.
You take them outside of the NFC East and you put them against one of the heavyweights from the NFC West or the Saints, and I just think they're going to get exposed for what they are. So, yeah, I'm going to pass on the outright winner ticket.
All right, now Lombo's on Twitter at Matt Lombardo NFL. He's also on Instagram at Matt Lombardo NFL. And I saw this post that you put out. What is this where fans can actually are able to text you directly to talk Giants football?
Yeah, it's a new program that NJ.com has developed. It's had a lot of success with Rutgers, and we're rolling it out for the Giants and the Eagles beats. I believe it's NJ.com/text is a link that you can go to sign up. You can just search it in my Twitter feed or search Giants Extra in Google. And basically, if you have a Giants question, you can shoot it to me. I'll get it as a text message and reply to you there. It's $4.99 per month. But the first 2 weeks are free, so you get a free trial of this. And we'll be dropping little nuggets from the locker room that we might get and not put in a story, hold some things back from Twitter and funnel to the text service. So you're going to get the first-hand inside information before anyone else. When they fire Pat Shermer, you'll be the first one to know via the text service. And a lot of times we've been doing some, question and answer sessions, some in-game analysis from last week. We're going to continue to do that. So NJ.com/text, you can sign up for Giants Extra. It's been fun so far, and I'll tell you what, guys, you kind of don't have quite as many Twitter trolls on the text service. People are actually, more into the interaction going back.
All right, well,
That must be your text service.
Okay, well,
Not ours.
how much of that $4.95, $4.99 a month are you getting? Because I can see my co-host, the wheels are turning, and where he's like, I can monetize more of my, social media and get a text and eliminate the trolls.
Yeah, go for it if you can do it. I get a job because of it. I'm still employed because of it. I'm still going to travel because of it. But as far as the $4.99, that all goes to the people upstairs, and they can divvy up the money how they wish. But
Wow.
We're told that this is part of our new mission to generate revenue in 2019 and 2020.
Is it generating revenue?
It just started.
From what I've been told, yeah, well, I'll tell you this. The Rutgers service has over 450 subscribers, so $4.99 times $4.50 per month times 12 months. You do that.
That's for
You know what's
Rutgers.
amazing? That is truly astounding, and I am blown away that you were able to not only locate but have them self-identify. 450 people who are willing to self-identify as Rutgers fans.
How about that?
Wow, that in its own right is monumental.
Yeah. So it's worked out pretty well for Rutgers. We're hoping to build the same kind of audience and interaction on the Giants beat. It's been a lot of fun so
Could you
far.
get Greg Schiano in that?
Yeah, well, there are some things in the pipeline involving Greg Schiano and the football program, just like we have a couple ideas we've kicked around for Giants fans and perhaps even Eagles fans down in
Okay.
Jersey and PA. Some meetups and things of that nature. Through the text.
Last one for you, Lombo. I threw this out here last week, but Harry and I never got to it, so I didn't want to be accused of repurposing or recycling content from a different show, but I am curious to get...
You guys don't do that. That doesn't happen on your show.
Usually if I bring something up, like the Patrick Reed stuff we had to bring up, and I was going to talk about it nationally like I was going to talk about it with a guy like Harry, who is as big of a golfer as anybody. So here's my question. Yesterday, for I believe either $1.99 or $4.99, you can now have on your Alexa device Samuel L. Jackson's voice.
Oh, jeez.
Who would be the worst celebrity voice ever? And I'm going to take two easy ones off the board. I'm going to take Gilbert Gottfried and Bobcat Goldthwait off the board. So you have to actually dig a little deeper now and give me the celebrity voice that would be the absolute worst to have responding to you on your Alexa device.
I'll give you two. Fran Drescher, number
That's
one.
who I was going to say.
Number two, I'll stick with my pick for the worst voice for Baby Yoda, Dikembe Mutombo. Nobody needs that as their voice of Alexa. So I go with Fran Drescher and Dikembe Mutombo as the two worst voices.
Love the Fran Drescher one.
You just went from chalk to some division, Gettysburg College beating Alabama. Like Dikembe Mutombo.
Cookie Monster, man.
No, well, that's more of. I like Dikembe. That's out of nowhere.
too.
That might be your best answer ever.
Wow.
Yeah, Dikembe. Now here's the thing, and Labo, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
You got it. Thanks for having me on.
Always, always.
Yeah, and he's brought to you by Gentleman Golfer Supply Company. Represent your love of the gentleman's game on or off the course with Gentleman Golfer Supply Company's extensive line of streetwear and golf apparel. Visit ggsupplyco.com. He appeared on the Lighthouse Insurance guest line. If those renewals have been coming back year after year and they're increasing, you got to take a look at your commercial insurance coverages. You got to do it with a pro. Managing partner Kevin McAdams. You got to call him right now at 800-691-1686. Visit him online at lighthousein's.biz.
So, coming up,
Matumbo on you.
I like
Threw you
it.
for a loop.
I like it, man. It was a good one. You'd go crazy if Matumbo was your Alexa.
Well, I wouldn't have Alexa anyway.
But I'm saying if you
could
did.
put Gil on Alexa, it sounds like Matumbo. Right?
I don't know.
A little bit.
I think I could tolerate Gil a little longer than Matumbo.
So I can't tolerate Alexa, period.
Well, that's why if it was a more soothing voice. Now, here's the thing. I get Fran Drescher has an annoying voice, but she at least, she was hot at some point.
She was, yes.
Jennifer Tilly was hot at
Well,
some
yeah.
point, and people think she has an annoying
I
voice.
still like her, actually.
Great guys.
Nick in Summers Point, we'll get to him coming up. Tax Sport 609-403-0973, at Harry Mays, TU, at Shander Show. And look at this pick, all right? Just describe, what do you see right here? What do you see? What do you see?
Is that a police officer?
It is. We'll get
Okay.
to that coming
All
up
right.
next.
You're listening to the Maze Aton Show, presented by Dry Guys of South Jersey. Go to dryguysonair.com and get the help you need with your wet basement. Dryguysonair.com.
Coming up on
So I do my shows on the weekend down here, right? And at the end of every hour, I have 6 minutes at the top of the hour, so I can run upstairs and just smoke or whatever. And usually Angela's up there. On a weekend, she'll be up there, especially Sundays when we do the show. Saturdays too. Even Friday night when I'm up 10 to 1 at night. He knows exactly. I'm telling you. I'll say, all right, I'll be right back. See that? See how he perked up? He knows what the sound of the headphones means. So it'll be midnight. He'll be sleeping, and I'll say, all right, I'll be right back. See that? See that right there?
Yeah.
He knows what that means,
Yeah.
which is I'm done, and I'm now going to go upstairs and take him out. It's crazy. Every single hour.
Your friends and family in one of our 14
He's like, Tom, you gotta calm down.
facilities. Our Axe Masters will teach everyone how to stick it and keep their party moving with a
got
variety
this
of
thing
games
now,
that
you
you've
choose my
never
beer.
experienced before.
Who's that account? Who's that Instagram?
Out with your friends.
One of my four girls.
You a night you'll never forget. Winter leagues are forming now, as well as our special Maze and Eight-Time League for all you listeners. Bury the Hatchet is the East Coast premier axe throwing company with locations right in your backyard.
Oh, we've got
Philadelphia,
giveaways.
Tom's River,
Forgot about that.
Philadelphia, and
We can do 3 of those now if you want.
use our
mean?
promo code
Keith said we have 3. We can give out 3 free passes to Bury the Hatchet today and tomorrow.
Just use our promo
Leading
code
up to
Harry50. Bury the Hatchet. Go to burythehatchet.com.
Welcome to 2 Street and welcome to Tollman Joe's. Tollman Joe's in the heart of South Philly is Tony Bruno's home on Eagles game day and your spot for free. Free parking every Eagles game day. Get to Tollman Joe's 3 hours before kickoff, 26 East Oregon Avenue. Hi, this is Tony Bruno. I'll see you on game day at Tollman Joe's.
Covering Philadelphia and the suburbs with a tremendous history of great success in the real estate market, meet Kristen Thompson. A proud graduate of Villanova, Kristen has been in the real estate business for 20 years and specializes in buyers, sellers, and investors. You can call Kristen directly at the Keller Williams Realty Group, 215-429-2451, 215-429-2451. Kristen Thompson, your real estate advocate, who will work tirelessly on your behalf while ensuring the sale or the purchase is the easiest part of the process.
There are so many choices when it comes to selecting the right financial institution. Start with the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. We're right here in your city. We're also the official credit union of Temple University, and anyone who lives, works, worships, and studies in Philadelphia can open an account. With convenient locations throughout our city of brotherly love. Also online at pfcu.com with free online and mobile banking. We're not here for our profit, here for yours. Federally insured by NCUA.
This season, the Eagles pregame starts at Dunkin'. DD Perks members score $1 medium hot or iced coffee on Eagles game days. So don't just celebrate the Eagles from the sidelines. Head to Dunkin' and get a kick before the kickoff. Plus, DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee the day after every Eagles win this season. Just use your Perks Enrolled Dunkin' card or show your loyalty ID. Eagles fans, run on Dunkin'. Excludes cold brew. Limit 1 per guest per visit. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Here's a message for contractors and business owners concerned about the bottom line. Make sure your commercial insurance coverage is right. Call Lighthouse Commercial Insurance. They can help. Let Lighthouse put together a comprehensive plan that is right for you for the right money. With 25 years of experience in the Philadelphia market, they know the most reputable and the most aggressive carriers. Give my friend Kevin a call at 800-691-1686 or visit them online today at www.lighthouse.ins.biz.
If you're a golfer looking to pick up a few strokes on the golf course, you should add these 4 words into your training and lifestyle. Traditional, Thai, yoga, massage. A Thai massage is relaxing and energizing, without oil, and designed to increase your flexibility. Try it now. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including a better score. Call Asan Thai Massage right now. 215-663-9376. 215-663-9376. Asan Thai Massage. Aiming to heal.
Davio's Northern Italian Steakhouse is located on the 2nd floor of the historic Provident Bank Building in the heart of
Is that caller still there?
Yeah.
He dropped. The guy dropped.
Offers private dining rooms available for large and small groups. Gracious hospitality and an attentive dining room staff provide every guest an exceptional experience. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Join us for a power lunch, happy hour, or Sunday brunch. At Davio's, it's all about the guest.
Okay, you know how it feels when you've saved enough for that long-awaited home edition? Now imagine an addition on that addition. That's the feeling with Capital One, where a new savings account earns an interest rate 5 times the national average. That's right, 5 times, as represented by 5 times more singers. This is banking reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rate. Capital One NA member FDIC.
This is Joe Krause of Krause's Coats inviting you to donate a slightly worn coat or jacket and help kids in need stay warm this winter. Go to Krause's Coats Facebook page. Happy holidays.
You're listening to Mays and Aton with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, we have arrived in the witching hour of our program, which is whittled down to 30 minutes.
The witching hour.
Yes, it's the witching hour.
Sounds like a show.
Didn't Francesa used to say that all the time?
I don't
It's the witching hour.
I don't know.
So, before we move on, I didn't realize this, but I am following and am being followed by Antoine Odom. I actually covered Antoine Odom, but I don't think he remembers me. Do you remember the name? He played
sounds
defensive
familiar.
end for the Bengals and Titans.
Okay.
And I was down in
You were down
Nashville.
in Nashville
Yeah,
to
Keith
finish
Bullock
the
and that
game.
squad down there.
I remember Bullock very well. Had Bullock on the air a few times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
through
With you.
through me
I
via
think
your
it was with
producer.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. It's another name and number that guy stole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not Sal's pals, the other Sal. Went to the gas station. All right, so Antoine Odom tweeted this, and this is amazing. Every now and again you see something on Twitter. I retweeted it and was laughing my ass off. So Antoine Odom, pretty big dude, played defensive end in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay.
Walks into the gas station. This is what he tweets. Went to the gas station, and as before I leave, I noticed this cop staring me down. I asked, how you doing? 5 seconds later, nothing is said. She just kept staring at me. And you saw this picture.
Yes.
That is a police officer staring at Antoine Odom, right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's not.
It's a fake cop? What is it?
Turns out this was a GD cardboard cutout laughing my ass off. I'm dead.
Okay.
Look at how realistic
I know,
that
it
cut
does look real.
Up until
I mean,
you see the feet,
Yeah.
that looks as real as it gets.
Yeah.
That's a picture of somebody superimposed on cardboard.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And of course, the stair, cardboard ain't moving, right?
Exactly.
That was like when I woke up in this house that I fell asleep in at the shore. I'm talking.
Yeah,
This is
how
back
long
in the
ago was
80s.
this?
This is in the
Blackout?
80s. Yeah, blacked out.
Nice.
And ended up in a bed in a shore house. Like it ended up being like a block and a half of where I was intending to go. Woke up with no clothes on in a bed, strange bed, and there was nobody else in it. But there was a family. I told you this story before. There was a family out in the room adjacent to the bedroom eating breakfast.
And they didn't know you were in there?
Well, they knew I was in there. I found out that they put me in there.
Oh, okay.
But when I woke up, the first thing that I saw looking around, it was like orange walls or something. You know how short houses are crazy paint.
Yep.
I see this cardboard cutout of Joe Pa holding a football, with the Joe Pa glasses on,
Just
staring right at me.
God.
And I'm like, what?
With the orange walls?
Yeah, because I wouldn't have Joe Pa in my room as
No.
a cardboard cutout.
No.
I'm not a Penn State guy. Lombo, if you'd have woken up and saw that, probably would have just gone right back to bed.
Exactly.
Well, I jumped out of bed, realized I was naked. We had an issue.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So this family stripped you down and put you in the bed?
I don't know that they stripped me down, but I ended up being stripped down. Yeah. And I had to walk right through their kitchen out the back door. So you talk about a walk of shame.
That's a terrible walk.
Oh
right
my
there.
God.
That is a walk of a shame.
Now I put my clothes on to walk.
I'm sure
to
you
walk
did.
back.
I
of
hope
course.
you did.
Yeah.
I hope you did.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Mhm.
I can't tell you. Now, and look, you've gone on to do bigger and brighter things.
Yeah, and that story was all over the island.
I'm sure.
Sea Isle and Avalon within
I'm sure.
hours.
Oh my God. It's amazing where stories of people that have gone through some of the most ridiculous, belligerent stuff in college, and then you go on and see them do some amazing things.
This was post college.
Oh, this was.
Oh
post-
yeah, this
okay.
was like a year or two after college.
Well, okay. Well, you're
Yeah.
still in that same.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine from where I went to school, from Gettysburg, and this guy is. I mean, he's went on to become like an air marshal. He's very accomplished, badass dude. But one night, this is a legendary story in the same vein. Not one-upping you by any means, just adding to the conversation. Blacked out, went to the hospital, woke up, escaped the hospital. Right, Gettysburg's not a big town.
Right,
You
right.
can get from the hospital to Water Street or these other streets that have frat houses or off-campus housing are pretty easy. And if you're blacked out or it's the middle of the night, an off-campus house is right next to a five-person family house, which is right next to an off-campus
Right.
house, so it's all blended. Apparently broke into the house. It was a 2-story house.
Was it a frat house?
No. Thought it was one of his. I must have blacked out.
Wow.
After already escaping in the hospital.
Yeah.
Proceeded to make scrapple in the upstairs
Nice.
kitchen, wearing a gown, and then I think the family woke up, and I don't think he was arrested. I don't think he was arrested. I think
Maybe you made good Scrabble.
I think it was one of those
I appreciate it.
like get the hell out of here, and we won't call the cops.
Can I take the Scrabble?
Yeah.
Now, what do you do there in that situation? If you're him, he's like, look, I cooked this Scrabble.
Right.
I went to the trouble. Would you like any? But
Right.
I would at least like to have a square.
I
of
think that's
Scrabble.
right. I think you are owed at the very least a slice of that Scrabble.
I think so.
Which you would have taken it.
No,
if that were
I don't
you.
eat Scrabble.
No, but if you were in that situation and you were making breakfast or
Maybe I was
scrambled
cooking up
eggs,
some nice sausage patties for breakfast
Yeah.
sausage. I would have said, hey, can I have 2 of these?
can I at least, or just
I made 4. Can I take 2?
would you grab and just run out the back?
Probably.
Since y'all brought it up early, Arthur from The Joint would be the worst for any device. I'd rather drag my member through shards of glass and use a lemon as a fleshlight
Jeez.
than to listen to him.
Wow.
That's Alfie in Abington.
That's pretty good. That's very descriptive, Alfie.
Very,
My
very.
God.
Red and Method Man, how high? That is so much later. Like, that's so much later. My God.
I'm deferring to you here.
Cypress Hill, as you guys, maybe you're younger or maybe you just don't want to admit it, but Be Real and Cypress Hill are the hip-hop weed smoking pioneers. They are. Before Snoop, definitely before Redman and Method Man. Like, Method Man was doing stuff with Wu-Tang in that group and 2 albums worth before he even hooked up with
What was that,
Redman.
in the mid-90s?
I'd say mid to late 90s.
Late
yeah.
90s?
No,
Okay.
mid 90s, something around that. That sounds okay. Mike from the Villas, Richard Simmons. What?
I guess as an Alexa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer Tilly's always a go-to. Check her out when she plays in the poker
Poker,
tournaments.
that's, yeah.
Busting out.
I love her.
She is fantastic.
Oh,
That's what I
she's
mean.
great.
That's so. to a lesser extent, I don't mind Fran Drescher's voice as much because she at least is somewhat like she was hot. So
Yeah.
I don't mind that voice as
What
much.
does she look like now, though? I mean, you know,
I bet she looks better than Tilly now.
I'm still into the Tilly. I gotta be honest with you.
Tilly doesn't look like she used to, though.
No, I know, but who does?
I'm just saying.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
neither do I.
Matt and Balakin, when Giants need so much help, it's insane. Hope they get screwed again. Fourth quarter comebacks are huge. Don't care who it's against, just building wins and confidence at the same time. Disagree with Lombo on that. He's wrong.
So, you know, wouldn't it be great
Nice text, Matt.
as Eagle fans here? You know, you see the Bengals take Burrow, obviously. Number 2, the Dolphins get the second pick. And they take Chase Young. And the Giants are stuck third, and they're like, all right, Chase Young's out, so we're going to take the tackle from Georgia, and he's a bust.
And he gets blown back. I could see that. I think we'd all like that, wouldn't we?
Well, yeah.
I
I don't want Chase Young.
Nope.
You know, trying to run down my quarterback twice a year.
Carson
That's
has
what I
enough
don't want.
problems as is.
Exactly.
The best Martin Scorsese movie is The Departed. I agree. Perfect set of actors for the storyline. That's another one where Jack this, Jack that. He's a background actor in that movie. That's how good of a movie The Departed is.
Oh, that Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, the cranberry scene with Leo's classic.
yeah, and Matt
Cranberry juice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Matt Damon is very underrated in that movie. You've got ancillary characters from...
Wouldn't you say that's an ensemble cast? I mean, there's so many names in there.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like a movie that has Grand Canyon or Traffic or, you know, all these movies that have just people in it just to have people in it. Like, it got to a...
Traffic was a good flick.
It was a good flick, don't get me wrong, but I think they overdid the cast in the sense of, like, that would have been a good movie if it were 2 stars and 6 really good actors.
Benicio del Toro in that? I love that guy.
Yep.
He's good in pretty much everything he's in.
But this wasn't... The Departed, I think, everybody was in there specifically. Like, Baldwin, Alec Baldwin, and Wahlberg's characters couldn't be as strong without those people there. Like, that's not a role in there. Those guys made that, and I think that's the difference. But, yeah.
This is great. Film breakdown.
The Departed, I'm telling you.
Weed, hip-hop breakdown.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, football. You get it all here. I'll tell you.
So, here's what you do. Final segment. Hit us up on the text board, 609-403-0973. If you have already, then do it again. 609-403-0973. We want to send 3 people, you and a guest, courtesy of us, Mays and Aton.
So 3 people and a guest. So
Correct.
6 people.
Correct.
Okay.
6 total people.
Yeah.
3 listeners and a guest of their choice each. To Bury the Hatchet. Your local Bury the Hatchet, Cherry Hill, Toms River, here in PA. We're going to be there Thursday in King of Prussia. We're going to give you a shot at it. All we need is for you to just let us know. Now, add something. Whatever the hell you want to respond to Be Real, you want to respond to Carson Wentz, or anything in between, that's fine. But we'll be giving out 3 pair of free passes so you can go out and throw some axes for free on us, courtesy of the great people at Bury the Hatchet. Again, burythehatchet.com. We'll be there Thursday at King of Prussia. Sixers tickets. We got a bunch of things happening, all here on 97.3.
Listen to Mays and Aton anywhere.
Can you can you focus on something to start today's show?
Download the 97.3 ESPN mobile app now. 97.3
You won't do anything. I brought you back out again, and you won't do anything.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football.
Driving me nuts.
Battle for first place in the NFC East as the Eagles take on the Cowboys.
Well, it takes balance is what it is. This is a big game. There's nothing normal about playing against the Dallas Cowboys.
Countdown to kickoff coverage with Tony Brunos begins this Sunday at 1 p.m. Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 4:25. This is where the Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
I am so ready for football season if I were you. You better be college fights with a huge day on Saturday, pro football on Sunday. Make sure you bet with the best. My Guys at the #1 casino in Pennsylvania, Parks Casino and Sportsbook. My Guys at Parks Casino and Sportsbook have it all in person or online. Download the Parks Casino Sportsbook app right now in the App Store. Go to parkscasino.com/PA. Use promo code SWEEP, 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 to get a risk-free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit. Parkscasino.com/PA. Again, PARX, casino.com/PA, and use promo code SWEEP to get your risk-free bet of up to $250. Parks Casino and Sportsbook. My Guys, they should be the guys you trust as well. Place all your favorite sports bets, point spreads, money lines, even line, in-game betting. Sign up now, get a risk-free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit. Promo code SWEEP. Get your risk-free bet of up to $250.
We're taking today, but it doesn't like it with rain.
Did you see that picture of Gargano?
What's that?
That was a tweet from Forza Corrado saying, "What do I do for a living?" And then he puts that photo up there and fucking opens up to trolling. Oh my gosh.
To justify what they're paying. There's no charge for the complimentary insurance review. You will save money and you will connect with a company
Jason
that is an
said
advocate, not a broker. Go to
Forza Corrado, Chip Reederson, Bill Cosby,
Yeah.
that whole crew ruined today.
That's 215-354-0122.
I've met clients that think that I, as an independent agent, charge a fee versus going direct to GEICO or going direct to Progressive. We do not charge a fee.
Let Galval Insurance save you up to 40% on your car insurance. Get your complimentary review. Call Jim Yilberg.
Likes my beard. Really? Like get a nibble on it and pull out.
215-354-0122. Your savings
stink,
are a phone
you know?
call away.
You need a bath.
Football season gets a screwball sports bar and
You
grill.
stink.
King of Prussia, voted one of the 10 best sports bars in
Text coming in
Yeah, we got a
College game day,
for the
football
prize.
plus Monday Night Football and a special live NFL Countdown to Kickoff show with the Tony Bruno Show every Thursday starting at 6 p.m.
Why is
Get
this
the daily
still
specials on Facebook and find your way to
Screwballs.
Screwball Sports Bar.
I think
and
Josh
Grill
doesn't
in
do
King of
anything until
Prussia.
somebody tells him.
Where
Like,
sports
not to
people
mess with
go
the log or
to
anything.
watch the game.
Because it's between Kraus and Gil and
It's human nature to care for one another. It can be as
How about that
simple
old
as
silly
sharing an
up there?
umbrella, holding the door,
Yeah.
or lending
I
a
was saying
hand.
that the other
At
day.
Independence Blue Cross, we've been doing our part too.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just-
for
Bill's
years,
not all about it.
providing access to the largest network of doctors and hospitals, as well as offering nurse health coaches and gym reimbursements. Because we believe there's caring in all of us. Independence Blue Cross. Learn more at ibx.com.
IsanThaiMassage.com. Traditional Thai yoga massage. Deep tissue massage reaches deeper layers of muscles. It's used to break down knots and relieve points throughout the body. This massage is beneficial for athletes, those who sit or stand for long periods of time, people with multiple sclerosis, sciatica, rotor cuff issues, and many other muscle-related discomfort or problems. Call ISSAN ThaiMassage.com 215-663-9376. Their motto is, we aim to heal.
Davio's Northern Italian Steakhouse is located
No
on the
Bruno's.
second floor of the historic
Yeah,
Provident
he's
Bank
in
Building
Arizona.
in the heart of Philadelphia.
Fine with me.
Near Rittenhouse. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Davio's
So we'll just have
offers
Jason
private
on.
dining rooms
That's
that
fine.
We don't even need like a guest.
No, I mean, we can get some. Is there anybody we can get on that we can have fun with? Like the three of us that could bring on that would be like.
Join us for power lunch, happy hour, or Sunday brunch. At Davio's, it's all about the
Like, who
guest.
could the three of us talk to that's not currently
The
working?
2020 MAC Basketball
That's a
Championships are headed to Atlantic City's Jim Whalen
we
Boardwalk
call,
on March
like,
10th through 14th, featuring 22 men's and women's teams. Be sure to check out the first ever MAC
not bad.
Esports Championship, as well as taste
Maybe
of
somebody
Oregon
like that,
mac
though.
and
Maybe
cheese
somebody with a
local
team that
restaurants
knows all of
and
us.
Dining Mac and Cheese Fest. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action to see who will cut down the nets and earn a spot in the
Like,
big dance. For more information or to get your
somebody
tickets,
who-
visit boardwalkhall.com.
We maybe worked with or had a guest as on as a guest different times or did something like the morning show when I was there and you guys. Stazak would be funny.
Visit thecheesecakefactory.com for more details.
This is Joe
Nick
Krause
Kale.
of Hussey's Coats,
Kale, yeah, maybe somebody like that, right?
Warm jacket and help
Couldn't get
veterans
my Schwartzman.
stay warm this
Is
winter.
Schwartzman no Jason? I don't know if he
It's on Facebook. Enjoy Martin Law, the law firm for workers, to help those who
Sucks we can't get somebody on the ISDN.
This is Mays and A-Time with Harry Mays. John Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
There we go. First album, Cypress Hill.
Oh, wow.
Hand on the pump. That's right, man.
What is the pump?
From a sawed-off shotgun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is the phrase that Red and that's how you know it's not Redman and Method Man, when those guys rip a line like this off for their own song years later.
Didn't everybody rip everybody off in the
Yes, but I'm saying it's one thing.
genre?
It's one thing to sample something and rip off a phrase or like a tune or a riff or something like that. But when you're actually taking what people say, then it becomes a little bit more of homage or rip off.
It's like you plagiarizing Jason Martinez's tweet a couple months ago.
No, I didn't plagiarize. That was an original tweet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mike Rainey, yo, Aton hitting the Starbucks Nitro Cold Brew. Sheesh. He'd like to bury the hatchet. Well, you know what? Mike's going to go out and bury the hatchet.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's good. Now,
you okay with that?
I love the Nitro Cold Brew. With the cream and classic in it.
Is that right?
It's a tasty beverage.
I don't know if I can do cold brew.
Oh, I love it.
I like frozen, but I don't like cold.
I drink cold coffee all year round.
It's not that I don't like cold drinks in the cold, because I will drink a frozen coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
A frozen coffee?
Don't tempt me. I'll drink one.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah. No, but
what do you mean a frozen? Well, what's the difference?
Well, I mean, frozen or cold. I mean, how do you freeze coffee?
You get it at the Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. They frappuccino the hell out of these coffees.
Yeah?
Yeah. You just know frap as a different term.
Mm.
I 100%, 1,000% agree.
I think that's fap.
I know. I agree 1,000% with Be Real as the hip-hop weed pioneer. Chris from Galloway.
Okay, well, Chris
is also is now going to be going.
He is?
To bury the hatchet. That's right.
Well, you know who we can thank for that rejoin music? Not Josh. Not Josh Henning.
No?
Jeff Mosher.
Did Jeff physically play it?
I think he recommended it to Josh that you got to play this when the boys come back from break.
Okay.
See?
I'm just making sure that we're not...
That was a Mosher
recommendation.
Yeah, recommendation.
What did you have queued up before Jeff corrected?
What do you think? Mosher's taking over the board? He's behind the wheels.
I don't know what's going
he's
on
just
over
getting in. No.
Josh is like, look, man, I only get 10 minutes a day as a break. These idiots are on cruise control. Just push this button when it's 56. I mean, who the hell knows? What did you have queued up? I'm curious.
I was in the process of queuing something up, and then Jeff was like, because you guys know what's like...
Correct.
So, so Jeff was like, this is my favorite Cypress Hill song.
Got it.
All right. Done.
Okay.
What were you queuing up?
I was queuing up Cypress Hill.
Okay. All right.
All right, nice. Good call by Moshe, by the way. That is one of the best ones. I doubt Jeff, now, to be fair, Jeff doesn't partake, but still, you don't need to be, and that was another thing, too. Somebody tweeted that out. You don't need to smoke or anything like that. You just have to know the history of it.
It helps.
No.
I think it helps.
You just need to know the history of it, that's all. I mean, those guys, look, they're pioneers. Who was the first rock, like hard rock act or country act?
Black Sabbath is credited as really starting heavy metal.
But I would say like associated with weed.
Oh,
with marijuana. Which back then was probably less taboo than smoking a cigarette.
The Grateful Dead, maybe.
I would say that, yeah.
Okay.
But the Grateful Dead is not hard rock.
No.
As much as your boy Jerry Garcia wanted. There was an untold story about Jerry Garcia. Do you know that?
I'm sure there's more than one.
He wanted to break away from the Grateful Dead and start his own metal band. But he was basically... A lot of people who were in charge of his investments told him not. It was a terrible idea.
And when was this? In the 60s?
This was after Truckin'.
Okay, so that's the very early 70s.
Right, and it was right around when Black Sabbath truly hit the scene, like 73, 74, right?
Well, that was a little earlier than that, but...
Yeah. So at that point, Jerry Garcia... was looking to venture.
He wanted to break away from Bob Weir.
He wanted it wasn't even he was anti the whole Grateful Dead thing. It was he didn't want to be looked at as a typecast.
Because he was also in like a jug band too. Like he played like the banjo.
And blow into a whiskey thing.
All that kind of stuff. Like real bluegrass stuff.
That's right. Yeah, so he wanted to break away It's like this guy, maybe people don't know who he is, but that's fine. There's a rapper, Mos Def, and he did the same thing where he had a hard rock, like metal album that came out.
Oh, yeah?
And it was like a hard
Most
rock.
Def Leppard, I think it was called.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the redo
Yeah.
of the first Def Leppard album. So, yeah, man, a lot of people don't know that about Jerry Garcia.
Wow, I did not know that.
It was ruled, he was struck down.
Who else was he going to play with? Like, who else was going to be in this
That's
band?
the whole thing. It was like, there was so much...
Was he taking Ginger Baker from the Cream
No,
days?
nobody was. I'm telling you, man. There was so much internal jealousy of this guy in the Grateful Dead that he had to move. He wanted to go away and start his own tree, his own coaching tree, and he wanted to start his own metal band and say, "Look, I'm such a talent that not only can I create magic like Truckin' and other genius songs that'll stand to test of time,
Well, he did unbelievable stuff with the synthesizer and the guitar.
beyond just his voice."
I mean,
Right.
like the MIDI. He called it, it was called a MIDI that he basically.
MIDI?
He was like one of the early ones in on that.
Is that right?
technology, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, changing the sounds. So, wow, this show gets deep, man. I tell you what, I'm not ready for Dallas week until tomorrow.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You know, remember, we already dealing with a guy whose first name is Dallas. And
That's true.
that pissed some people off. You know, you can't have a guy
You got
named
Dallas and Boston on the Eagles.
That's
Didn't
right.
think about that.
No, that's it.
The two places that the fan base probably hates the most.
Yep.
Dallas and Boston.
And those are the guys that should, like Dallas Goedert, 10 grabs, 2 TDs, 120 yards. Not going to happen, but. John from Abington, I'm with Maze. I love the Cascara cold brew from Starbucks.
Oh, what's it called? Cascara?
Yeah, you don't
I've
even
never heard
You don't
that.
even know what it is.
Well, I know. I've never had that. I've had the nitro cold brew at Starbucks a few times. I love it.
Okay. If Breeze wins another Super Bowl, is he the greatest ever over Brady? I do not
No.
think so. Stand from EHT. I don't
No.
care how many fumbles are lost. I care how many times the player fumbles. It can't happen. You can't expect a lucky bounce and recover.
Well, yeah. I
It's
mean,
Larry Lubtron.
well, yeah. He's got 44 in 54 games. Now, he hasn't lost all those. He probably lost maybe 26 or 27 of them.
30 seconds.
But yeah, I mean, it's a dead play basically, because you fumble a ball, and even if your team recovers it, it's some lineman just falling on it. Like, you're still probably losing yardage and a down, right?
I agree.
20 seconds.
Lou Albano, Captain Lou, the guiding light, hung a rubber band from a pierced cheek, along with rubber bands on his ears. So we were both right.
I was right.
We were both right, because you didn't understand that he tied them into his beard as well.
Well, he tied the goatee like he had. Yeah, I
Gil
remember
does that too.
Well, of course he does.
And for promo.
Aton Show, a Jacob Media Sports presentation.
This season, the
Ace. Hey, no. No.
Fucking dog.
No.
ready when you are.
Coming up, a Wednesday edition of the Maze and Aton Show. Our old friend Jason Martinez